Jonah Jurkens.
Kelsie.
We're back with a podcast. It's Petals and Pricks.
Hold on a second.
What?
Huff.
Oh, dramatic pause for the last name. Jonah, your improv classes are really paying off.
Thank you. I'm in level 2.
Jonah, you guys, is retaking improv classes.
I am.
So if he's extra yes Andy on the podcast, you're going to know why.
We're also in the middle of character work, so you're going to hear a lot of maybe some different accents that I can't do. Good day, sir. I'm from Singapore.
A lot of terrible British accents for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I decided to, it's been 7 years.
Okay. Oh,
I did improv for a long time. And then I was like, this is a skill I kind of want to work back on. And I'm slowly regretting it, the decision.
Are you?
Also, my teacher right now is somebody I came up with, Stacey, who I'm friends with, who's an amazing performer. And she's great. But I feel like she's just like...
She's like, what are you doing here, bro?
What are you doing here? I'm like, I'm just trying to learn with the other people.
I'm just trying to refresh my skills so I can really bring it to my podcast. Have you heard of it? It's called Petals and Pricks. Why don't you like and share on iTunes?
Yeah, that's all I do is just be like, I'm sorry, I had to do my podcast. It's called Petals and Pricks. Are you guys Bachelor fans?
You're just taking classes to promote our podcast. Dedication, Jonah.
That's called guerrilla marketing.
Really get in there, you know.
We had to walk around, and then like, she's like, okay, now lead with your hip. Now, what character does it make you feel?
Just one hip?
Just like lead with your hips. And now, how does that inform your character? What does your character say out loud? And the whole time, I'm like, get me the fuck out of here. I hate every second of this.
Oh no, that's such an acting thing too.
Yeah.
It's like lead with your head, lead with your pelvis.
Right.
You know who's not leading with their pelvis? Colton.
No, he's not.
He's leading with his heart.
He's leading with his heart.
Aw.
Nice.
I tried to be sweet, and I can't even get it across without seeing it.
Yeah, Kelsie, because I don't think you've ever been sweet once. Your poor husband
Oh, come on.
probably never received a card.
No. I'm very good at cards.
Are you?
Yeah, because cards are easier. You don't have to look people in the eye and tell them your feelings.
You just plug your shows at the end.
A very sweet card. And like, by the way, can you please watch our podcast more? Also, I love you. And we're on YouTube now. So
we're on
make
YouTube
sure
now. Please check us out. Fix our 9 views.
I know.
We know how many listens we get. We know how many listens we get. Visually, that hurts my feelings. And I need
YouTube is saying, you guys have face for radio.
Yeah. And that's why also I have so many insecurities. I need my YouTube comments to reinforce what I think about myself.
Yeah. So if you guys want to go on YouTube and be like, Jonah, why are you so pasty? He hasn't tanned in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
He's gonna be
And we're in Chicago. It's god awfully cold.
Oh, you guys,
and I've been staying inside and eating chips.
Yeah, we're hibernating here in Chicago, but we're not. So,
but I have been ordering a lot of delivery.
Yeah,
that's an asshole move.
Oh, because you're making people like
negative like 30 today, and I'm like, yeah, why don't you suffer that for me?
Yeah, well, at least
and
they
don't
have
worry,
cars.
I'll give you a 15% tip, 20%.
20%. Yeah. But I feel like the
and free tickets to my show.
Oh, nice job, nice job. It's the Potbelly. Here's the thing, because Potbelly, even in Chicago, they're riding bikes.
Yeah.
Do not. This is a PSA.
Yeah.
Chicago. Do not have Potbellies delivered. Like, I don't want their socks
Jimmy
to go
John's
down.
too are also
it's insane.
bicyclists. Yeah.
Do not make them go in negative 15 degrees.
But they decided to show up for work.
Jonah.
I'm gonna be honest with
Jonah's like, oh, it just reminds me of like the old timey newsy kids.
Yeah.
You know, being abused. You know, like, come on, good sir, paper sir, and they're like freezing, and they have like
paper
newspapers.
for a penny, sir.
Yeah.
2 bits, sir.
Well, and scene.
And the world will know. That's Newsies.
Let's get to the show, you guys. Sorry, Nancy, up top. We're getting into it. We've got The Bachelor, Season 23, Episode 4, Week 4, without commercials, an hour and 24 minutes of Colton and all of his ladies. Now, I got to tell you something. I did not watch live with Jonah this week. I watched on Hulu, and I didn't notice this, but on Hulu, Ari is still the Bachelor image before the show starts.
Shut up. Are you serious?
I swear to God.
That's funny.
So you turn it on, and he's like doing this like dance, his arms up in the air with all the rose petals falling.
Yeah.
Like, you guys gotta maybe update your image.
They're probably like, we're not getting viewership on Hulu for some reason.
It's crazy. So there's 15 gals left.
Yeah, all sitting on a couch together, all squeezed together.
Yep, squeezing in on that couch. They're still in LA at the beginning of this episode. This is like the tail end of like the Miss USA drama that happened the episode before.
Yeah, we're hearing those pageant problems, baby.
Pageant problems. And then Chris walks in, being all demon-like, and
looks at all the girls. How's everything going? How are you, Hannah? At Kaylin.
Oops-a-doozles.
Whoops. I out loud said, savage.
Forgot the name. Chris
Savage.
just shows up to stir some shit up.
I thought Chris winked after he said that shit. Bink.
A little glimmer in his eye. I'm surprised he hasn't done that more. To be honest, if I was him, if I didn't have cue cards and there was that many blonde women in a room, I'd be like, Caitlyn, Kylie.
Yeah. I still. This has been the hardest season for me to differentiate.
Yeah.
Do you think
very
Chris,
blonde.
before he went to his executive producer, and was like, "Hey, watch this shit."
I'm gonna stir it up, yo.
I bet you. Like, okay, so sometimes comedians, look into the world of comedians. Sometimes we'll bet each other, like, okay, I'll buy you a drink if you can fit this word in your set, right? I bet you they're doing that to Chris.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, hey, man, we'll buy a Maserati if you can fit this in.
He's like, I already have 17 Maseratis.
Yeah. I didn't look at your eyes until you were doing that.
Let's up the ante.
Yeah.
If you don't do this, you have to go on the island where you could kill a man. That's really fun.
That's really fun. You can do that really well.
I got it. Yeah.
I bet you there's like, hey, I'll call her the wrong name. They're like, that's not gonna work. Trust me.
Joe the gaffer's like, look at this.
Yeah, dude, I've been doing this for 20 years, my friend. 20 years? He's like, we had a bunch of problems with the pilot up front.
So he does that. I'm sure he got his Maserati because he aced that game challenge.
Holy shit.
Chris nailed it. Savage indeed. And then there's no date because they're going somewhere. The gals lost it.
Right.
They were just screaming before we even knew.
Yeah. I was like, ladies, he might be like, we have a new deal with North Korea.
Or like, yeah. It could have been like, we're going to, I don't know, some like swamp.
We're going to Trump Tower.
I know, everyone's like, ooh.
And
but
also,
they
like,
scream.
Yeah. And people have been, and like, there's a difference between the Bachelor budget and the Bachelorette budget is crazy.
Really?
Yeah, because they always go on these extravagant trips for the Bachelor. They haven't really been doing that a lot on the Bachelorette.
They went to like
Tahoe.
Okay.
I'm going to Tahoe in a month.
Jonah's like,
on 9 viewerships on YouTube.
I love this sweet burn you got for Tahoe. In your
No,
jacket.
it's very pretty. But Tahoe.
But he says Singapore, and they lose it even more.
Right.
They're just like, oh my God, this is
They're
a great.
"Ah!" And then they're like, Singapore.
No, that's so funny. Hannah G goes, where's Singapore?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's that public school education we're talking about.
I will admit, when I saw that, I was like, don't even know where Singapore is. And then they showed like the Indiana Jones thing where they went, and I'm like, that's where Singapore is.
Can you like break it down Steven Spielberg style
Right.
for me? Because that's how I got all my education.
I would love to show that the prop plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get the little chopper.
And then they all
things
had those
going.
like little like horn rimmed sunglasses with like the thing over their head.
Yeah. Oh yeah, going back 30s, 40s style. Oh,
but that was a
Junior. That's
Indy. Grab your hand, Indy.
Yeah. Oh, let it go.
Yeah.
That is my favorite Indiana Jones movie. The last Crusade.
It's the best one.
For sure.
Oh.
It makes me sad to say this.
No ticket.
No ticket. Yeah. Chuck that Nazi right off that air balloon. Some of the banter stuff gets cringy.
Well, this is in the 50s.
Yeah, well,
30s,
no, it's not the 30s.
20s.
Yeah. It's, well, it was made.
Tens,
Okay,
knots.
you're just yelling numbers now. But yeah. The Indiana Jones cockiness is a little rough. now.
What parts?
Well, when like her Indiana Jones and the Nazi Elsa, when she like destroys her room, but she's looking for the book.
Yeah.
And she destroys the room, but he doesn't think so. So they're yelling at each other, and there's like sexual tension, but they clearly hate each other.
They start making
and then
out.
they start making out and then do it. And then it turns out like his dad also had sex with her, and they're like, wink, wink, we boomed the same Nazi. It's like, yeah.
I don't think they make a big deal out of that part.
Oh, they do. There's a whole conversation in the
both-
balloon before they.
Yeah, where he like realizes it and then.
No, but there's some wink moments. Rewatch it because I just rewatched it
know.
because I still like it. But like,
It's good.
Sometimes things don't translate into future.
Yeah.
Some of those moments you're like,
Yeah.
hachi machi.
It's 6:30. No, Dad. 12 o'clock. 1 o'clock. Yeah.
No, I hate to tell you this, son. They got us.
Man.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, dad stuff. Shut up. Are you kidding me? I'm all into the dad stuff.
What a great. X marks the spot.
X marks the spot. Yeah.
Everyone listening right now is like, I am 22. I don't know even what you're referring
is Indiana
to.
Jones?
You haven't even mentioned Shia LaBeouf once.
That is true. I didn't even watch that one.
It's bad.
I didn't watch that one because I'm like, and
It's
Marion
bad.
was I loved Marion when I was a kid, and you saw like a lady for the first time, like out drinking, like
Badass.
hairy, sweaty dudes. Me and my sister used to go in the bathroom and fill up Dixie cups and be like, slam, 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 pretend to drink.
Oh.
It explains a lot about my future.
Yep.
But she was so cool. I mean, she almost beat the Nazis with her fucking liver. Like, it was amazing. And then, don't pretend to hit your cat. And then the last one, I couldn't watch it because I couldn't see Marion.
They're making another.
I know. Anyway, let's move on. Sorry, Nancy.
I don't know. I could talk about
Indiana Jones forever and ever. So here's a question they don't show us. They don't show us jet lag.
Wisely.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that preview for Pepsi. They used that.
And they use the same actor in
Yeah.
the Crusades.
Yeah.
I remember that too.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Rats.
You would have made it past the rats, Dad. They were rats.
Oh yeah.
You see his little
yeah.
face.
Junior.
Yeah.
Junior. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move
Sorry.
on.
Okay.
So
sorry.
we
I got really excited because I'm not gonna lie, Kels. I've been wanting to watch that movie for weeks now.
What?
And I had a post, one of the most popular posts I've had on Facebook, that said, "I'm not gonna lie," and then I put Last Crusade with the alligator eating that over Raiders of the Lost Ark. Fight me on it, and a lot of people agreed.
Yeah.
I just
it's
watched
good.
Raiders.
Raiders is good. Don't
Raiders
get me
great.
wrong.
Yeah.
Like I said, Marion, all that stuff, fantastic. Love it, love it, love it.
What about the girl that wrote like "Date Me" or whatever in her
on
eyelids?
her eyelids, with the student, because he's like the hot professor.
Yeah, he's a hot professor.
Yeah.
And I liked how they
Not
also
good at his job though.
No.
Which you can see in the third one. He like just jumps out the window. He was supposed to be grading papers.
Yeah.
And he just jumped out the window.
You gotta save your dad.
Yeah. Well, you didn't know about his dad. Anyway, okay, let's talk about something.
Penitent man.
Neil
Jr.
Kneel before God.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay.
They don't show this in Indiana Jones
That's
either.
how boring this goddamn season is.
We can talk about Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
The jet lag.
Oh yeah. When
Nobody talks about the jet lag. And then when we get
did.
to the date card, Colton finally does. But that is an interesting statement. It's like we see all the gals like kind of screaming it up and laughing, like we're going to Singapore. And then we cut to obviously they're in their hotel room, screaming it up and loving
and you
it.
hear a girl
I'm
being like, "I can see all of Singapore." No, you can't. I can see all of it. No, you can't. It's much bigger than those 5 buildings.
It sure is.
Yeah.
What's the worst jet lag that you ever had? Have you been like passed out and like cranky?
I haven't. I've never really experienced jet lag.
No.
I've the one time I probably should have is when I went to Australia, but I was also 19, and
And invincible.
Hell yeah. But I made sure that I slept, and when I woke up, it was sunny in Australia, and for some reason I didn't have a problem switching over.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
So you were pretty chill about it.
Yeah, because when I woke up and saw, and then I think my body accepted it pretty well.
That's very cool. Yeah, and you're right. I think like 19, you can
It's pretty easy
we're
when
gonna
you're
live
19.
forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you? What's your worst?
Yeah, no, I haven't really traveled like something like I really want to go.
Didn't you just go to Norway?
Iceland is not that far.
Oh,
actually.
What's the hour difference?
I think it's like 5 or 6 hours. It's like Ireland.
That's not that
It's
bad.
not bad.
Okay.
It really isn't so bad. And I really want to go to like New Zealand or Australia. I've never gone. Or I also do want to go to Bali, which is like a 13-hour flight. But
Where's
I've never
Bali?
gone. Bali. You know, I don't actually know like the
That's
Providence.
Cool. You know, I really want to go. Place I don't even know where it's at.
Well, no, because on Airbnb there are these like insane there's like these insane like affordable places to go. Sometimes Jason and I just like, where would we go if we had money?
Yeah.
But it just looks beautiful, and I don't know really much about like the country, the land, or like the politics, or anything.
Right.
Like I don't know if they're like, get out, we don't want you here. I have no idea. But it looks beautiful
I
on
have
the
no
internet.
idea. I have no idea how dangerous it is, but their Airbnb,
Their Airbnbs are beautiful. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like I do think you should research a little bit before you go.
Yeah, more than Airbnb, lady.
Well, yeah, that's why I haven't gone yet because I haven't done the research.
That's the only reason why.
Yeah, like
Cool.
well, and also I have no money. I mean, there's that. Yeah. But my jet lag, I haven't really experienced it. But it's so funny. I haven't experienced like hardcore jet lag, and yet when we move to daylight savings, I'm destroyed.
Really?
I'm like destroyed. It's really weird. It's 1 hour, and I'm like, oh, my life's over.
I get more destroyed when winter hits and it gets dark at 5 p.m.
Yeah. Yep.
I get like more. I get affected more by like quote unquote winter depression.
Mm-hmm. The old seasonal action.
Seasonal depression.
Yeah, when I was in Iceland too,
seasonal depression.
There's that thing where like they don't get much sunlight.
Yeah, it fucks me up. That's why I go tanning.
Yeah, that's why. You're not just because I want my hot bod.
Hot bod. That's not what the YouTube commenters are going to say.
So the date card happens in Singapore, right? Let's talk about this date card. So they're in Singapore. Everyone's screaming and loving it. Obviously, they're separated, how the show goes. So we have the ladies in one hotel room and Colton's all by himself in the other. And it's read that Tasha gets the date card. And it's kind of vague. Like falling in love kind of a thing. And then we cut back to Colton, who is back to vlogging because of no budget.
What is with that?
I don't like it.
That is setting the internet ablaze.
Is it?
People are not feeling it.
Are they really? Yeah, because you were live tweeting.
And I was live tweeting. I was reading. I was like, I agree with this.
Yeah. What were their thoughts? Like, stop it. Pay a camera person.
You think it's a budget thing, or I think it's like.
I think they're trying to like relate to the new age.
Millennial.
Yeah, and you're like, just do the thing you do. Do the thing you do. But it feels like it's supposed to be personal.
Like he's just like, all right, today's a group date, and don't worry.
We're not
fix my hair.
We're not cutting costs.
Jet lag. I'm finally getting over that. I had a day of rest. Looks out in the sun. Had a day of rest. But we're in Singapore, and stop trying to be sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got to be hard, like when you're trained to be sort of an Instagram famous person, which I think a lot of these folks are.
Right.
You're constantly posing. So it's got to be hard to be like, hey, stop posing for a second.
But I would say, too, like, I mean, I think he's very charming at times, and I think he's very engaging the way he talks to people. Mm-hmm. But he's a virgin. He's not sexy. Let me tell you why I say this.
Okay.
Because I dated a garbage man for a little bit, but that's not the story. I'm kidding.
What? Whoa. This took a turn.
No, because I was trying to think of the word, and then for some garbage man.
Are you just scatting now?
No.
Stream of conscious jazz?
Hey, improv, baby.
Are you doing some poetry?
Improv, baby. And you didn't yes and me.
Hmm?
You didn't yes and me.
No, I'm very bad at improv.
What? You're great at improv.
I used to be.
Liar.
Let's start with your story though, because you say you can't be sexy.
Oh,
when
I thought
you're
you
virgin.
said let's start improvising. I'm like, nobody wants to hear that.
No. We used to.
No, so I dated a choreographer, like a dancer, who then, as you get older, you can't dance like you used to. Your body kind of breaks on you, whatever. But then also turned into a choreographer, and then she was teaching anywhere from teens and above. And she actually taught one of the girls that is on Dancing with the Stars, the kind of famous blonde one that had a country singing career for a little bit.
Apologies, I'm sure people will know, but I don't know.
Anyways, sidebar. So her thing was that like girls, like she can always tell when the girls would like lose their virginity because they stopped trying to dance sexy and they understood what it was to be sexy a little more, which saying this out loud, it's kind of creepy to me because I think we're talking about 17-year-olds. But like I think that's with Colton, since he's never had sex, he's charming, but I don't think he can be like sexy. Well, I don't think he understands that. I don't think people understand what that is until you experience like that act. Yeah, it's hard to like, you know what I mean? Yeah, no,
you bring up an interesting point.
I can see that he just seems kind of stunted in what he thinks sexy is.
Well, you bring up a good point, and it's also connected to what we were just previously talking about, which is like posing. Yeah. Right? So like Instagram poses, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to look a certain way, I'm trying to like curate of what I assume it's going to be. And you're right. I think the reality and like the integrity and the truth of it are real experiences. Yeah. So that you're not putting on a facade all the time. And now virginity, I think, is one element of that, but like also learning life and learning who you are and learning what you like, you then become more in your body, right? And I don't think you're wrong. And I know what you're saying, like, oh, it's kind of creepy.
What a very nice way to say that you're wrong. I don't think that you're wrong.
No, I really don't. And it's just funny, like from an outsider, it does seem odd to be like, I know that you did it because you look different now. But,
no, there's just a different type of swagger. You carry
yourself differently.
Yeah.
And I think that is, like that experience, it does shape you a little bit of like how you then present yourself. Right. And you maybe don't try as hard. Because as I'm trying to think about like before, when I was still a virgin, I think there was a lot of like, I don't want people to know, so I'll act a certain way. Right, but you're just acting what you think. Yeah, is that, yeah. Right? And there's a point where you're like, there's a genuine thing where you're like, I don't care anymore. There's like an insecurity to it. Exactly. Yeah. You just don't know, not like a weakness, insecurity, but just like there's an innocence or there's like a lack of information. Yeah. A naivete. A naivete. Yeah. Yeah, so let's do this date card. So they go. I thought I was going to blow your mind with that. I actually think we've talked about it before. We have. Yeah. Oh, that was me asking you. We have? We have. Yeah, we have. But I take your point and I yes and it. And I think that there is a difference that happens in your body and in your confidence and in your projection when you experience things in life. 100%. I agree with you. This is our problem. What? You don't fucking agree with me. I'm done. I quit. Are you not listening to what I'm saying?
What?
I agree with you.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, there
Okay,
you go.
cool.
Okay, cool. Fake conflict avoided.
Acting.
All right, so we go to I think it's I hope I'm saying this right. Sentosa Beach. With, with Tayshia. They're walking around the beach. They do that cute thing where like, let's touch the thing in the sand, and the water comes and splashes their feet. Oh, what a date we're having.
Look, we had footprints, now they're gone.
Yeah, they're gone. Oh. And then we big reveal, the bungee. Dun 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 dun.
I loved that act of like, okay, it says falling in love, right? Colton in his vlog goes, I'm most scared about what we have to do tonight, whatever. And then they cut to him walking down the beach being like, hey,
what's
look,
this?
it's a bungee jump thing.
I had no idea.
You want to do it? Yeah. I'm like, oh, Jesus. Just be like, hey, we're going bungee jumping.
Yeah.
Hey, what? What?
Surprise? Super surprise.
I mean, would you? Yeah. I mean, could you?
Maybe.
Yeah. Wow, they're like already starting to harness him up. Yeah. I mean, like, right? Huh?
He's committing to the acting, right? And then he does mention something like figuring out like, the thing about like going to try something new is like figuring out what you like or you don't like. And I know that this is such a youthful thing, and there's a lot of young women. Like, what is it? It's like really young cast, like the 23-year-olds.
He's pretty young, yeah. So
he's pretty
it's
young
like 22
as well.
to 32.
And that's a very
over 30 years, they're gonna die soon.
Yeah, well, 31 ain't shit. Yeah. But that is like such a like a 20s, early 30s situation, or before. Like we have to keep trying on hats to see what we like.
Yeah.
Keep trying on hats to see what we like.
How do you feel about that?
Like that. I like that energy, and I don't think it has to just be youthful. But I do think there's a point like when you're getting older, where you're like, I don't have to try this. I already tried it.
Yeah.
That door is closed now.
Right.
Like that's not doing it for me.
You know what I mean? Kind of like fuck it. Feeling is good. Yeah. So I'm like a little torn because I do feel like I miss, now that I'm in sort of a regular routine and I kind of know myself, which is really great, and I like know who I am as a person and how I want to walk through the world. I do think you lose this a little bit. I agree with you.
And that
I think you're kind of stuck in your ways, in your path.
And the thing is, like, it's okay to be stuck, like, because you're like, oh, this is what I like.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I found it.
Right.
And then I think I would like a little more sprinkle of this in my life.
Okay.
So let's go bungee jumping is what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, I'm either.
Meet you there.
Yeah, okay, I gotta go feed the hog. I gotta do some
feed the hog
from National Christmas Vacation.
Nice.
Yeah, but what time? 4? Yeah, I'm either.
Yeah. So you're not into it.
Ooh, sorry, having a problem with my Uber account.
Oh, do you find that like because you're not? We're let's full confession, internet. We are not 23.
No, we're 25.
Yeah. We're so ancient now. Also, no. Do you find that you miss this sort of spontaneity of like trying new things?
I think I'd still try to do that, but I definitely I'm not up for anything anymore. There's certain things where I've experienced. I'm like, I don't fucking like that.
Yeah.
Like the clubs.
Yeah. Okay.
Not a fan.
Yeah.
Don't like it.
Yeah.
You know. I don't want to get bottle service. Who am I, Rockefeller?
No, you're Jonah Jurkens.
No, I'm not Anderson Cooper. Yeah. I can get that. But like, I mean, bungee jumping, no thank you. I'm afraid of heights. I'm not going to do that shit.
Yeah.
But I will say the few times that I've pushed the height thing, I've done like the swing thing, like at Six Flags, you know?
Yeah.
That was so much fun. And it was very scary. But my fear of heights has heightens every year, it seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? Oh, I just realized what I said. Yeah.
Did it.
Yep.
So if you were, let's say, on a television show where there are cameras and there's an expectation, because you don't ever have to do what they say.
No.
Would you have done it?
No, I'm pretty stubborn.
You would have said
fuck
no.
that.
You would have been like,
I'm
sorry.
not jumping like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, also my huge fear, which we'll get into, and I would do skydiving over bungee jumping.
Okay.
I feel like there's more things that can go wrong, which I think I'm wrong at, by the way. But I feel like there's more things that can go wrong with bungee jumping than with skydiving.
Gotcha. Why is that?
I don't know. I just have that feeling, and I have that feeling of like you have a little more time to like figure it out when you're higher up.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
So like
when you're like jumping and you're like, I feel like this harness is a little loose. You're done. You know what I mean?
So skydiving gives you time to potentially like fix any issues.
You'd want to think.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a lot of skydiving movies.
So you're an expert.
So I know a lot.
You're like, I don't know if you've heard of Point Break, but I'm pretty much an expert now. So.
Right. I mean, there's Terminal Velocity. There's another one with...
there's Air Force One. Isn't Harrison Ford?
There's some scenes in there with him. Yeah, it was pretty good.
There's that Wesley Snipes movie that's like Always Bet on Black. I don't know what
that's
it's called.
Passenger 57.
Yeah.
There's another one where it's a skydive. There's like a big thing where
Wesley Snipes loves skydiving.
Well, that's like Drop Zone. That's what it was.
Drop Zone.
Yeah, with Gary Busey. Okay, sidebar. Sorry, Nancy.
Sorry, Nancy.
You know what I kind of miss? I kind of miss movies that represent fads. That was really big in the 80s and 90s. I don't really see that a lot now.
Yeah, probably because you like bad movies. I mean, you like movies that are like a little cringy, right? Like a little, because I feel like they're not timeless. So I think a lot of actors and people are like, ooh, this isn't gonna.
Well, it's kind of fun when like all of a sudden a bunch of these movies come out that are like,
breakdancing,
hackers,
yeah,
or bull riding.
Yeah.
When people are like, skydiving is really big. Skydiving. Yeah. Skateboarding.
Surfing.
What's better than skateboarding? Rollerblading. I miss that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And now I feel like the fad is just like.
Other than Here to Make Friends, where Zac Efron's like a DJ. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Yeah, I kind of miss that. Like just the executives that are just like, yeah, just do whatever you want, just fucking do what you want. Yeah, that's the new thing. Get it out now.
That was just the haze of cocaine.
Yeah.
Like we hear the kids really like snowboarding, so let's make a bunch of snowboarding.
So get that out. Yeah.
Oh man, Jonah, too real on the coke.
But I thought
real. Your actions were too real.
Right. I've never done it.
You're like, I watched a lot of movies that had cocaine in it. That's how I learned everything.
Yeah. Sorry.
The other thing that I want to like skydiving versus bungee jumping, because Colton says something that kind of made me like, oh yeah. He said, this isn't circus bungee jumping. This is for real. First of all, I don't know what circus bungee jumping is, but I think what I started to interpret it is like, it does feel like they were just like two kind of punk looking white guys, like tattooed and like spiky blonde hair and stuff. It is like kind of carnies just roping you up and
it's such a
off.
Carnival thing now.
Yeah, and you're like, ooh.
I don't even think you need to be certified.
That seems scary.
Yeah.
You know what else freaks me out? Not certified really. Is like that cryo bar thing where you can go and like freeze your body.
Oh yeah.
And parts of your body can freeze off. Like it's dangerous.
Yeah.
They're not very certified to do that. I'm like,
that's like minimum wage people. That's
it's like people from export have gotten those jobs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And no slam to export.
No.
But it's not like it's like this. It's like
Yeah.
you just fully trust and go in.
That's like when
it's crazy to me.
Yeah, anyone I know that's getting like a Brazilian wax, I'm like, you're showing your butthole to someone who's making like $9 an hour.
Yeah, and like again, there's no shame in that, but I feel like it's this idea of like we trust these total strangers. Like you have the authority on this.
It's authority. Yeah, it's authority.
And you're
yeah.
like, good, do they though?
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's the
okay.
thing too. Is like when I did the Carbonaro effect for a little bit, and then I I was just in a tad of authoritative role, and these people would just do whatever they wanted. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, but
you just met me.
I know, it's crazy, right?
Yeah, why are you doing this?
Yeah, and I mean, I think we find ourselves in that position all the time where we're like, we assume you have, we trust you implicitly.
Right.
But you could kill us at any moment.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
I loved the little tell. This is the same subject, but a little thing I noticed that made me laugh was a little kind of subconscious tell of Tasha and Colton when they were like watching, and the guy jumped off, and they both kind of backed up a little bit,
Well,
like they weren't gonna
he's coming down.
Yeah, but they were like, you're not gonna go grab him instead, just run away.
Grabbing him will not help him.
No, but still, like not like you're not running towards the help. You're like running away.
Yeah.
Like I don't get blood on me.
I know. The real heroes. The other thing about that
and it
shot
seemed
too.
like he pushed her in front of him.
Take one for the team, Tosh. I know that also too. There's the angle. That camera angle was like kind of in the butt, like right up his shorts a little bit.
Yeah.
And they both kind of went, jumped right on the camera.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I wonder about the bungee jumping, I love that there's a pool there, and like if
I
something
wrote that down.
happens,
Why is that
you'll fall in
there?
the pool. Listen,
That's
if
a
you
short
fall
pool.
from that height,
Yeah.
it's like cement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now,
Right.
I don't know exactly the science, but I remember watching a Mythbusters where they're like, if you like fall off a bridge or whatever, like the velocity of like height and where your head is and water, like will you actually like dive in and be saved? And chances are pretty low.
Yeah.
You'll hit it so hard. It's
like a brick wall.
You're like a brick wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
never.
mean,
And it's always a tiny pool.
yeah. And I'm
Like people are waiting in there.
I know. I'm like, yeah, if that's a 3-foot pool, that shit,
Yeah.
you're going to be fucked.
But I will say visually, that looks a lot better than the ones where it's just a concrete
That's
concrete
very
slab.
true. I think it is like, so your brain was like, I'll jump.
We'll just put a mattress down there.
I know.
That seems safer.
Clearly, we've never bungee.
Like when we would do the rope in like elementary school, when you'd be on top, you look down, you're like, I'll break my leg if I fall in mattress.
Yeah, the mattress.
Yeah.
Or
put the stuntman thing up there.
Oh yeah, that big like poofy thing.
Yeah.
Where you fall and it kind of goes.
That's designed for that.
Yeah.
And I love when they're up there too, and then the girl was like, "I think we're like 1,000 feet up here." Like, no, you're not.
Yeah, you're like,
I could see why you would say that.
Yeah. No.
It's like 1,000 feet. And he's like, "Is it?" Colt's he's such a 4-year-old sometimes. The way, especially when
he jumped. I did laugh out loud, and we talked about this a little bit before. So he screams like, which like, listen, no shame in the game.
No.
I'd be screaming my face off as well. But then Jonah, the best part.
He goes, "It's happening again." No, he goes,
"Oh no, not again."
Yeah. "Oh no, not again."
So he jumps at first. And then he has the initial bungee boy. He forgets that gravity's like a thing on Earth.
It's a bungee cord, not a rope.
He goes up and then goes back down.
"Oh no, not again." and then they cut to the people being like, "How do you feel about this?" He goes, Natasha, and she goes, "I don't know. He screamed like a girl."
I love it. And the only reason I love it is because it does feel genuine.
Yeah.
And also there's an idea of like, oh, I play football. And then you're like, nah! Like, I just love the contrast.
Not again.
No, not again. Oh, I'm dying. Oh, but that's like why I love Terry Crews. Like, I just love that switcheroo, that like juxtaposition of like, I see a guy with like a really thick neck and he's really built and he's like, I just love it.
Yeah.
It's so great. It's like a cartoon when you like see like a scary, like someone that's like supposed to be like the big, strong, scary character, like, get afraid of a mouse.
Yeah.
You know, it's fun. I love it.
And he looked like a 4-year-old jumping off a diving board for the first time, where you just kind of like fall off.
Yeah. But let's talk about Tasha, because I was actually a little scared.
This is
for
what
her.
scares me the most about bungee jumping.
That like when you fall, but you're like still upright.
Yeah,
like
she goes
standing.
like it's
she
like
just like planked it.
Yeah, it's like she was like pencil and like.
You're like,
you can tell those guys are like.
Well, and also because they're holding onto the back, right? Which I never realized. So they're holding onto the harness
because they want you to go ahead first.
That's what I thought. Like they're like sort of coaching you to like fold.
Go forward, yeah, because you naturally don't want to. But she stood up. Because
at one point she was just
planked
falling
up,
straight right.
And then I'm like, oh, that's gonna get wrapped around her neck. That's gonna get wrapped around her neck.
Oh God! It turns like a faces of death, and you're like, please God no, please God no.
Yeah. And then when she whipped down, I was like, oh my God, that's gotta hurt too.
Yeah, that has to hurt so bad.
Yeah.
Like the Aerosmith crying. Do you remember that music video with Alicia Silverstone
when she's on
and Steven Dorff? Wow.
Steven Dorff's in that?
How do I remember that?
Yeah.
My face. But yeah, I remember that because I had a quick little thing for Steven Dorff. It's embarrassing.
I could see that. He's kind of a badass.
It was a little embarrassing though, because I'm like pride myself in not having a thing. But I was going.
Did you see the movie? You could see his penis.
No. Mm-hmm. What movie is that?
I believe I own it, but
Blade?
I forget what it's called. No, it's not Blade. Silly goose.
Silly goose.
No.
Any snoozle. She's like pretending like, oh, haha, I'm gonna kill myself, which is not a haha, but that's what she's doing. Alicia Silverstone, and then she jumps backwards, and she has a bungee cord on. But even in the video, it goes like whack. Like her back goes whack like that, and I was like,
they used to do bungee that way.
Yuck! How does that not kill your spine?
Break your neck or something? Break your back?
Yeah. Ooh. Anyway,
but that's the thing. That's the thing that scares me the most. It was funny we made fun of him, but I do agree with that thing. Like, not again, because like you're flying up, and all of a sudden you have this loose rope.
Yeah, a lot of slack
that you're kind of wrapped around. That can wrap around something, rip your arm off.
Yeah,
break your leg.
Jason has a horrible story
around your neck
about a houseboat. I don't know if he's gonna be happy that I'm telling the story, but they were like jumping off the houseboat on one of their vacations.
Jason, earmuffs, bud.
Earmuffs, bud. No, it doesn't end badly, but it could have. And he was jumping off like diving into the lake. And he got his leg, there was a rope and he didn't realize it.
No.
So he jumped and the rope went like all the way up his thigh, almost cut his inner thigh.
Shit.
But it could have cut his stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like stuck under the water.
Scary.
Yeah. And he had to like pull himself back up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that like wrapping around.
Yeah. That scares me the most.
Yeah, it is scary.
Dropping age here, but I used to watch Rescue 911 all the time.
Yeah. By the
that
way,
show
Jonah,
fucked me up.
We've been dropping age since Indiana Jones.
That's true, yeah.
So people know.
But there used to be a show called Rescue 911. William Shatner hosted it, and they would just play real life 911.
Yuck.
And they do reenactments of it, but that fucked me up. So I was at that like learning stage.
Yeah.
as a kid.
And also, how can they do that? People's real life 911 calls, they're just...
Well, they're public access.
Is that true?
But B, I'm sure they're getting their consents because they also would. They also had the people like be interviewed because I think it's also like a teaching moment.
Yeah, I guess.
Like there's one where these kids were jumping off a bridge and then, or like young adults, and then one jumped a little to the left and hit a rock and basically broke his back.
Oh God.
And that's why I'm like, I've never been bridge jumping because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you never know what you're gonna, especially in the water. What's underneath there? I don't know.
Trust me, dude. We used to do like, because small town. There's nothing to do, like queries or whatever.
Oh,
queries.
Scary.
Just jump. You just like, I'll just jump off this cliff. It'll be fine. We used to jump off the roof onto a trampoline like idiots.
Oh yeah.
And like I remember being in like the barns and like just jumping into hay bales. You don't know, there could be like a giant tractor partner there. Like it's the stupidest thing ever. Like it is not good. And people did hurt themselves tremendously.
Yeah, we're kids. We're dumb. I used to play this game where like 4 of us would be in a tree, and then we had one person underneath, and he had like a Nerf gun and would like the arrow ones and would shoot at us, and we would try to like dodge it. But if we grabbed 3 of them, we got to be the person down there. We were running around in a tree, getting shot at.
Yeah.
And my mom had to get it trimmed because of the city ordinance, whatever. I was so sad. I was like, that's my favorite game.
Yeah,
I'm sure my mom was like, I don't want to lose my son.
I know. Well, I got really mad too. So I did the opposite, little bit of a nerdy version. I would climb up be by myself and read.
Oh, God damn it.
No, but I got really upset too because I would go
Jason, earmuffs, bud.
No, he already knows. But I would climb up super high, like
really?
crazy high. And my grandpa would be so nervous. He would be so nervous. I could just feel him like be anxious. And I was just by myself. And then eventually I came back and he cut the lower branches so I couldn't climb up. And I was like devastated.
Yeah.
And I know he didn't talk to me about it or anything, which is like, he could have just been like, hey, I'm worried for your safety.
Yeah. You like, shut up.
Yeah. Or I would have been like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like a conversation, but he just chopped it down and never talked about it. And I was kind of bummed.
I miss climbing trees.
Me too.
Would you climb a tree?
I bet you I couldn't now, just because my upper body strength is so bad.
Yeah.
But I.
Would you if you could?
Oh hell yeah!
Well, if there was like like a dog ladder up to the top.
Why a dog ladder?
Well, because like the little tiny steps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so. Because there's something like I loved heights as a kid.
Yeah.
I loved them. I was a climber, and my little niece, she's a climber too. Like there's something about like changing that perspective when you're a kid. You're like, whoa, I'm huge. Like we'd had silos. I should not have been doing this. Silos inside a barn. Like I would just climb up as high as I could before it got scary, and it is scary.
Yeah.
Because the wind is going. And you're like, ugh. And if my
metal
mom
gets slippy.
Yeah,
Slippy,
I shouldn't have done
slippery.
it. Like I would have been in big trouble.
Yeah.
I should have respected the height.
I do see like this is the one Bachelor where the opportunity of him being like, let's go climb trees could happen.
No shame in that, I guess.
There is this kind of like childlike wonder to him sometimes, which I
again,
like.
The innocence, right?
Right.
Yeah, and I do like that they also make fun of it. Like both of them say, like, we're hoping we don't die today.
I know.
Like, let's not die.
And then the other person's like,
but for real though.
Yeah, seriously.
Seriously though, let's not do it.
They experience it together, and that's a high.
Yeah.
That's good.
A bonding experience.
Yeah, and also the adrenaline's running and all that
sure.
shit. So that's like a experience that Demi will never have.
Oh, snap. You know what is odd, though? Because they do have more to this date, right? So they have this during the day, and then it's like bathing suit time. It was an odd cut, I thought, because she was talking, and then they like just cut to her like taking her pants off for the bathing suit time.
Yeah.
But they went right from her talking to like pants down. I went, whoa. That was strange. And then they have some bathing suit
Got some snapper
time.
in your mouth.
No, gross.
Oh, I said mouth.
Jonah.
Why'd I say mouth?
Why?
I don't know.
Why'd you do it?
I don't know. I take it back, guys.
You take it back. You love to say snapper.
It's my new thing. I think it's real silly.
Yeah. Snapper. It's very strange.
It's strange. I just like people being like, what?
Why?
I don't know. You say ding-a-ling.
I say dingus a lot.
Dingus.
I think
Snapper.
it's fun. So after their bathing suit,
Because vaginas are very aggressive.
what do you mean?
I don't know. I just
The
wanted to say
word?
that.
The word vagina?
No. Have you ever seen the movie Mouth?
You always talk about this. You're really disturbed by this more than the 911 calls. I feel like your teaching moment is you think vaginas have teeth in them, which is a real fear.
do
We
you
already
mean they
talked about
don't?
this. No, of course they don't. I mean, unless you have a tumor.
I mean, I know somebody calls them snappers for a reason.
Yeah, a misogynist, Jonah.
I don't really believe that.
I know,
Okay.
I just wanted to see your face. But also it's true. Okay, anyway, so we go into the night.
Yeah.
Go into the night date. They go to the cocktail hour. And I like when they do these, there's a little silence. People tend to have a like talk, and they have to edit fast.
Yeah.
But they were like there was some moments when she was like trying to tell her divorce story.
Yeah.
Where there was breathable silence. And I know this is a TV show and it's a game show. It's not realistic. But I feel like that really does happen. When you really want to tell somebody a story, you have to take a moment a couple times.
I would say
breathe.
this whole episode, which we'll get into later, I think
Right.
this whole episode kind of did a good job at that.
Silence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there is like tension in the silence too, and then also just that thought of like somebody like, I'm gonna say it.
Yeah, I don't know how you're gonna react right now.
Yeah.
Or like kind of pulling yourself together. There's a lot of reasons for silence, and even as comedians, I feel like you can start telling people who are a little more nuanced and more comfortable. Every fantastic comedian that you live in silence, right? Like, that is part of the deal.
Yeah.
Because that's how we
they
speak.
can like breathe and take that moment.
Yeah, and I think that is how we communicate.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also such a attention grabbing thing when you're watching a performer and they take a long pause.
Yeah,
it's that's a very commanding thing to do.
Yeah, and you're building that tension.
Yeah.
Not that. Listen, I don't. I think doing something in a comedic sense and like having like I'm going to tell my deepest darkest secret is a little bit differently. All I'm just trying to say is silence is how we communicate sometimes, and you don't really see that a lot on shows.
Yeah,
it's very edited and sliced and like move, and I like that. We do have the
I mean, I will say this is that
a joke's coming. I can see your smize. There's a tell. What is it? Come on.
I agree.
Oh, you were trying to do silence and I ruined it. Oh.
That's the thing. That's the high school thing when you look back at somebody like, I realize I'm really good at, and then like what they're like building tension. You know how? And I go, how?
And then you're just quiet.
You're just quiet.
The reason I'm interrupting you is because this is an audio medium. I don't want it to be quiet.
I like the people being like, did my connection go?
Dead air time. We've got dead air time, people.
Yeah.
So she was married. To her first boyfriend. Tasha got a divorce, and then she does mention this. And I got to be honest with you, we are on episode 4, and this is one of the first times that I recollect somebody saying that they're Christian. I thought there was going to be a lot more of this in this episode.
No, there's been a few. There's been a few in the first episode. There was some talk of it.
Yeah, I heavily my hypothesis, my guess for this season, it was going to be heavy on God, heavy on Christianity. A lot of people talking about it. He's
not really heavy on it.
Yeah, he does. Like the internet anyway says that he does identify as a Christian,
which is fine. But I don't. But like his whole virginity is not based on that.
Yeah,
right.
But she did mention it. So as a Christian woman,
it's based on the fact that he's a mark-ass bitch.
Oh, come on,
I'm
Jonah.
kidding.
Loves to play the game. So she thought that they would not be divorced, kind of a thing. It was her thing.
Yeah.
And then he responds with, he has divorced parents, so he knows, that's complicated. He responds as all bachelors do, which is like, this is a judgment-free zone. Thanks for telling me your secret. They all have that like side cocker spaniel head when they tell secrets.
Yeah.
And listen to secrets. There's a lot like, side head. Oh, that's not a great phrase. I take
side
that back.
Head? Oh.
No.
Get your mind out of the gutter,
I think that was
lady.
a Friends. Now that I think about it, like way back in the day, a Tom Selleck joke. Tom Selleck was in Friends for a hot second, and I think he had a like, "Oh, you're divorced, cocker spaniel head."
Yeah. I think I remember that.
Anyway,
I would say this that I will give Colton a compliment, and that is that he has very dreamy eyes. But the second compliment I'm going to give him.
So this is going to be a bad one.
No.
Okay, this is a compliment. Okay.
Is that I will say that at these moments when he realizes that these are a hard thing for the women to share to him, he tries to be empathetic every time, and also been like, I can see, I don't know your story, but like I've experienced something similar, to kind of like say like you're not alone.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, and that's my compliment.
He doesn't do it like
Ari seemed like it was just like, oh, I don't care. It's more about him.
Interesting.
Like it feels like Colton's kind of like reassuring that like it's okay, like you're not alone, and as much as you can.
Yeah.
Not like in a bad way.
Yeah, I think the first time we ever did this podcast was Nick.
Right.
And remember, Nick responded not so great at these moments.
He's his would be like,
he's like, yeah, I wasn't on
divorce.
TV.
Yeah, I didn't get on Dance with the Stars till as of late, so I know the feeling of rejection.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah.
Where he was like, every terrible thing that somebody would come with it, like, oh, your brother died. Well, I wasn't picked on this game show.
Yeah,
and you're like, oosh. And I will say Colton doesn't do that. He does bring up his virginity sometimes, which is like his kind of like, here's your hook.
Yeah.
Sometimes he brings it up, but he doesn't all the time.
Kind of walking away from it.
Yeah, which I think is good. Yeah. I mean, how do you respond to those situations? Because I do want to make people feel, friends or otherwise, right? Like when they say this, I try to just listen, but sometimes I feel it is a like, you showed me your cards because you trusted me
so you
enough.
Like want to reciprocate in some way.
Yeah, and I wonder if sometimes it feels like a one-upping because I don't like that either. Which is like, here's my tragedy, whoop bang. Now here's my tragedy, whoop bang.
See, I like doing that.
No. Well, because you always win, Jonah.
Not necessarily.
But there's this idea of like, I just want you to. It's very hard for me sometimes, just like let people sit in pain, and then just like I'm here for you.
Right.
I do feel like I need to instantly tell them that like I also get it, and I don't think you always need to do that.
No, I don't think so either. I think everyone's different.
Yeah.
In that way, but I think that's the thing. In past relationships, I feel like I'm working on it, but in past relationships where it's like, with someone venting to me, it was like, okay, let's reason this out. And it's kind of like, I just want you to hear me. I don't need you to like try to make me look at it a different way where I'm going to hear it better.
Yeah.
Where it's just kind of like,
just let it be.
Just be like, I can see why. I totally understand.
Yeah. Cause I do think like sometimes you just need to,
sometimes I just need like I don't need like you to hit the ball back at me.
Yeah. Or I don't need you to fix it. I don't need you to reason it out. You're like, sometimes the greatest thing you can just say is like, fuck, that sucks. Which seems very small, but you're like, I see what you're going through.
Yeah.
And man, that sucks.
I always go, Jesus fucking Christ.
I remember, and I know this is like another thing, but like reading a lot of like Nick Hornby stuff, which is like, or like About a Boy, right? There was a moment where like, the Hugh Grant character, and I forgot the actor's name, the little boy character, who's a very famous actor now. There was a moment where like the little boy just told him something about like walking in on his mom tried to kill herself, right? And all the Hugh Grant character said was like, fuck. And he didn't think it was enough.
Yeah.
He just reacted.
Yeah.
And that like the little boy's like, that's all that little boy was looking for.
Yeah.
Was somebody to like acknowledge how shitty the situation was. There wasn't a fix it. There wasn't anything.
Right.
There was just a recognizing of a situation.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's enough. And I'm bad at that sometimes.
Me too.
I feel like I have to do something.
Fix it.
Yeah. Fix it. Or like, me too.
Yeah.
Because I do think like when somebody says me too to me, like, or I understand, I don't feel as alone. But sometimes that's not what people are looking for.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, we got into it.
Yeah, we did.
We sure did.
We really did. But so to bring it back to Colton, do you think it's like a one-upping type situation?
I don't think so. It doesn't.
Do you feel that from him? I don't.
I don't feel that from him. But it's also like we're talking about a weird game show, so he has to fill the time with something.
Get out of this is reality.
Oh, no, come on, Jonah. You and I know at this point that you don't believe it's reality. But you have to say something.
Yeah.
So I think he is trying to be as sort of like connected as he can be.
Right.
So no shame in that game.
Right. No shame in that game.
I don't know what I would do if there's a camera in your face when and lights on and you're having a fake dinner and someone's telling you like a true thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I cheat to the camera every time.
You do like like you're doing The Office, like wink.
Yeah, I'd be like wah wah.
They're like, this guy can't be on the show.
Yeah, right. Or I'd like say something like really serious and then end in like a really like, see what I did there?
See what I did there?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're on. I have to say,
Chris would be like, I love this guy. This guy's great.
This guy's a real dickhead.
This guy's a real spark plug.
So their date, they're in the beautiful stuff, right? So they're at the Gardens by the Bay in Singapore, which I've always wanted to go to. Those big like electrical looking trees.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've seen
Very
that
cool.
on the internet. I've never
you
been
did.
to Singapore. It looks beautiful, and then they're also.
I thought you were gonna say San Antonio.
I want to be a San Antonio.
Yeah, he's like, I always wanted to go to San Antonio. What?
What are you talking about? And then they end the date. Tasha's got the rose. They end the date on the Singapore Flyer, which is that giant.
Fuck that.
You don't like the
scary.
Again with the heights.
I don't like heights.
But like now this, you have a whole. It's huge. You have this whole room. Like
I don't
there.
care.
Oh,
It's too open. Too many windows.
Okay. Gotcha. So the heights date's not for you.
No.
Yeah. So while this date is going on, we flash to the.
But I'm all about a real high selfie. I tell you that.
Up top.
Hell yeah! I want to kill myself. I'm making a selfie. It's all about those likes, baby.
Likes. Speaking of likes, we go to the group date card, and 13 women are on this group date that we're going to go into in just a second. Let's just breeze through them. So we got Hannah G, we've got Elsie, we've got Kirpa, we've got Sydney, we've got Heather, we've got Annika, we've got Tracy, Nicole, Demi, Courtney, Katie, Cassie, Hannah B, which means Kaylin is going on the one-on-one. So we've got 13 gals going on the group date.
And Hannah is having a one-on-one breakdown with her brain.
Yeah, Hannah B is not having it.
That girl.
She's having some problems with the Kaylin and her, like, their pageant problems or whatever.
My question to you is which I thought about was, how nervous do you think the guy or person that has to knock on the door and leave the date card gets before he does it? It's probably just some intern.
Yeah, I don't know, because you never see them.
There's got to be a scene from all these years of doing it where someone's like about to knock on the door, and that's exactly when somebody opens the door to go get like ice.
Oh, they're like, redo.
And they're like, oh, he's like, oh, God, take card. I'm gonna get fired. Like, leaves.
Like a date card panic.
Yeah, because like I'm sure like people like not. Oh shit, I forgot to do the card first. Oh God. And they're like hiding a little bit like that.
Redo. Take two.
Shit. I'd be so nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you play like a little trick, you don't want them to find out, so you're just like, oh, here it comes.
Like ding dong ditching for the date card.
It's gotta feel like it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure those interns have so much to do. Like they've got to like make sure all of Chris's cars are spotless. You know,
right.
I mean, they got to do a lot of his dry cleaning.
Right.
So I'm sure this is the least traumatic thing that they have to do.
I bet you Chris has probably tied some shoelaces together before. There's a little hazing.
No. Chris the bully.
Yeah.
Well,
or even like you can't move away too quick because the air will blow the card over.
Oh gosh, you've really thought about this.
I really did. Because it's probably some kid who just got out of like some art school and it's his first job.
Yeah. To be fair, the way the economy is going right now, it's probably some 40-year-old person who lost their job.
That's true. When you said person, you spit in my mouth a little
I'm sorry. Welcome to the program.
We're like 2 feet away.
That's a pretty good. Well, my peas are strong. So the group date.
I know. I can hear you use my bathroom too.
Can we talk about this group date?
Yeah.
A lot of things are happening on it.
A lot of things.
So group date, 13 people. You know, Colton mentioned something before even all the ladies comes, like how he's going to have a hard time with it because he doesn't like the physicality where you're putting it in your face because he feels self-conscious because there's so many people.
I like that.
You know, and then cut to Demi jumping on him.
Yeah.
You know, but like he's like, I know.
That'd be funny if he like didn't grab her back and she slowly slid
down.
And then she's like, the girl's like, oh, you smell so good. Oh,
whoa,
that's what she's doing.
Yikes!
Oh, you smell so good. He's like, I'm a virgin lady. You're scaring me.
Yeah. So she's walking around the market. Demi's on his back. I love the little slam they do just because I think like, I don't know. Maybe I'm a jerk, but I love it. So she's on his back. They're walking down and they see the little tiny kid clothes. And one of the gals is like, oh, Demi, your dress.
Oh, fine. I didn't catch that.
Ooh, slam.
Yeah.
And then they get a red caricature kind of thing in the market. Him and Demi's, they get the little caricature things. Mm-hmm. And they're just kind of walking around before we get to the leeches. Did you notice anything about the market before?
My favorite part was Colton talking to camera and just being like, I hope these girls are good. I hope they're like, I hope they're okay with like trying new things and experiencing different cultures. And then the first cut after that is just a cup full of colored pencils.
Welcome to Hallmark.
Yeah, I was like these crazy different cultures here. Colored pencils.
You were looking for something more.
Yeah, I was like, come on, that's what you do. And then I'm like, what's the second cut? And then it's just like them looking at tassels, like that you put probably in your like. That would be funny if like your graduation hat. That would be funny if that was like that's where you get the knockoff tassels.
Oh yeah. That's what they're there for.
Yeah, you see a couple principals out there.
Second
job, yeah.
Is the import-export business Chris Harrison?
Yeah.
Oh man. And then it does go into like different cultures a little bit with like the leeches, right?
Right.
Which I guess you could do some of that kind of stuff here. Like they
and
have the koi ponds where you can like get pedicures in the little koi.
Oh
people eat their feet.
For what?
Come on, do the noise.
Oh.
No.
Yeah,
I was giving you an opportunity to your favorite noise of all time.
Okay. Never mind.
Okay, so we go to get the leeches to get rid of toxins and inflammation. That's kind of what it's sold as.
Also, nose and speed too.
The leech thing that I get.
Stand by me.
Yeah, of course.
Of course. He's got one on his ding-a-ling.
Yeah, classic leech stuff. Have you ever had a leech on you?
I don't know. I was thinking about that. I think so.
Yeah.
I've been a leech on other people, but
we're not talking like an emotional thing.
No, have you?
No, I haven't, but it is a great big fear of mine because I've seen
leeches.
them.
Like when they're actually been on there for a while and they're big.
Yeah, or like swimming in somewhere, like being in the country, people's like canoes would tip over and they walk on like crap, and they would have like a leech and they just kind of fling it off of them.
I think I could handle that better than somebody slowly putting one on me.
Oh really? I feel like that'd be more controlled. Like I don't like the idea of nature of like I walked around, there's a leech on me, or like tick.
I I don't know. It's anything biting you is scary. This is a movie called Mouth, where like a vagina.
We
it's like
get it. You think vaginas have teeth?
But Colton, when he goes, anybody want to touch my leech? Pet. Or anybody want to pet my leech?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, A for effort, buddy. Good try.
Good try.
Yeah.
But your creepy dad jokes aren't working here. And Courtney was so funny. Like, I don't even know. Are they FDA approved? Like, you're in Singapore, idiot.
Yeah.
Nothing's FDA approved. That is an American institution, you dumbass. I don't even know. Have anybody checked these leeches? I mean, it was pretty funny.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. So there's some leech action. And then, of course, because we have to do like the pageant drama.
Demi's like, look how sweet it is.
I know.
I'm so sweet.
I'm the sweetest.
It loves me because I have
blood.
sweet blood. Sweet blood. It's like, I think sugar kills leeches, I believe. Or salt.
I don't even know if that's a wise tale. I think it's probably true. Dries them up. I don't even know. Is that probably from
Is it a
movie?
wives' tale or wives?
I think it's wives' tale, but I just don't like saying that.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's like, oh, wives don't know shit.
It's
It's like a midwife reference, I think.
Midwife, the people that help deliver babies.
Yeah,
Really?
Because like there used to be like women's medicine, quote unquote, and it's usually like very natural and like very much about herbs and things like that.
Okay.
And so they're like, is that true or is that just an old wives' tale? Because they're idiots. I don't even know if that's historically true, but I get real mad about it.
You have emotionally put thought into this.
No.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's some crazy woman science.
Yeah.
We don't believe it. And I'm like, all right, settle down.
That all got sparked to maybe my. Can I take again, please? Hey, Spielberg, can I do it again? Is that good? Cool.
Believe in yourself, Jonah.
Okay, ready?
Ready? Action.
I like how that got all sparked by the fact God damn it.
It's okay. You know what? I just need you to breathe into it.
Okay,
Do you need a cue card?
No, I got it.
Okay,
No,
all right.
no.
Everybody quiet on set.
Mark, put the cue card down. That's fine. I got it. I'll figure it out. No, it's cool. No, it's fine.
All right.
Roll back, please. Cool.
Action.
I like how that got. Sorry. I'll give it up on that.
Did you just say Dagobah? Dagobah. Okay. It did get sparked by just one little moment, but you know how I am.
Yeah, just like a clarification moment.
Then we go to the fortune teller. So they're kind of just going through the market after this point, right? All the leeches are gone. They're going to the fortune teller, and Kelsie. This is why you don't believe a fortune teller, because if you don't like their fortune, just ignore it.
Yeah,
that's what I'm all about.
Yeah.
In past life, you were a sister.
And
everyone's like, boom!
I know, and that was also like Colton's naivete again. Was just like, I'm sure you didn't like hearing that one, did you?
Am I right, ladies?
And then he brought it back later.
Yeah, but they were having a fun time.
It kind of fun, but I think it was kind of like, I don't know.
I liked it, actually.
It
We'll
was
talk
funny.
about that little in the cocktail hour. He's like, oh God, what am I saying? Like he seemed like really like, oh, I'm making this worse, aren't I? Oh gosh,
yeah.
oh God, oh,
okay,
no,
yeah,
no.
you're right. I like the call up.
Yeah.
The call out.
And then we get to the point where they're like trying foods, like pig's feet, bullfrogs, eels, fish eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, these gals, they don't eat any food, let alone weird food. And I
All
was
fried,
like,
too.
okay, let's not body shame these women.
Yeah.
But at one point, I'm like, they're eating hilarious.
Yeah.
And that's just my bitterness coming
see
through,
that.
you guys.
Yeah.
It happens, no big deal.
Then one girl was like, I'll try anything. Okay, that's an eyeball. Okay.
Yeah, that was Hannah. Like,
Really pops in your mouth there, huh?
no. Have you ever tried an eyeball? I've never had it.
Would you?
I don't know.
Would you try pig intestine or whatever intestine that was? I would
think
try
there
that.
is something about like traveling and like being immersed in a different culture. I don't think I'd be like, let's wolf down this whole plate.
You tried some crazy stuff in Iceland,
Yeah,
didn't you?
I would try food. I mean, especially if it's just like a little taste, a little bite.
Yeah.
Why not? You know,
Yeah.
I think it's also one of those things where it's like it is embracing a culture. It's almost like a welcoming moment. Like obviously in The Bachelor, they're just doing it because it's TV. But like if you're invited to somebody's house, it's one of those things where you're like, thank you, I will try it. It's.
Do you think that they, when people from outside the U.S. come here, that's how they feel when they try cotton candy?
Yeah, some bullshit food. They're like, try it, do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're probably like, what is wrong with everyone? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just circus food we make people eat.
This is ice cream from the future. It's called Dots. It
What?
doesn't melt.
No. It just sticks to your lip in an awkward way.
Right, and it doesn't taste good. Yeah. But you can kind of taste the taste of it.
Do you know like how freezer burn tastes? It's like freezer burn with like mint chocolate chip
Right,
flavoring.
we just kind of scrape it out of there.
Right. Huh?
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Ice cream from the future. It's pretty cool. Oh, you guys just came up with this? Nah, it came up with 30 years ago. It's never really caught on.
You know, time is a concept, really.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know.
Just
what
like
you're talking
the fact that this is a food is a concept.
Right.
I like the one part too when they're shopping and Colton's like, I look good in a fedora. I was like, nope. No, you don't.
Does.
Nobody does.
I hate it. Feels very anti-fashion of us, but I don't think anybody looks good in a fedora.
I would disagree with that comedian Dave Hellum, who lives in LA now. He looks pretty good with the fedora on.
You think?
Yeah.
Something about fedoras. I'm not into
when
them.
you can pull it off, you can pull it off.
Yeah. Does he wear it back or forward? Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like here where you can still see your forehead
like
a little bit.
Like it's a little tipped, you mean? Oh, I see what you're saying.
You put it like in the back of your head.
Kind of like in Jurassic Park when the guy tipped his hat back when he looked at the thing. Like that?
This episode should be called Steven Spielberg fucked me up.
I think this episode should be called Specific Reference. Because one person's like, oh, yeah,
one.
Right, and that's me listening back.
That's Jonah editing this podcast.
Yeah.
Anything else of the day, or can we trinkle
I'm done.
into the cocktail party?
Do you have anything?
I want to talk about that cocktail party.
Okay, let's talk about it.
So Hannah B is the first person to grab him, and then she really just says, "I want to get it all out in the air. I want you to trust me. Do you trust me? Do you know who I am?" Kind of like just asks him forward, like, "How do you feel about it?" And he just answers, and I'm like, "What an adult conversation that was."
Right.
It doesn't like brew, and I love it that we're not stretching it out forever and ever. They really sort of, and going forward and other stuff, they kind of clip that thing in the bud, the pageant drama, which I'm like, thank God, let's move on already, because I don't like. Drama. It's not my favorite.
It comes back
a little, but then it's nipped again.
Yeah, it's true.
That's
true.
And then
I like how Colton's like, I just realized Colton. Yeah, I like Colton.
You're into it.
I'm starting to like Colton now.
Yeah,
I just like how he's like, I just realized that like I'm just gonna have to accept that they're not gonna like each other.
Yeah.
And then I'm individually dating them basically.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa.
We're at a point. Just so you know, it's a pattern, Jonah.
Huh?
You end up liking someone around episode 3 or 4.
No.
Yeah, you do.
That's unfair.
Like, this is great. You're an empathetic person. You're like, if I spend time with somebody, I'll get to like somebody. I'm not just saying with TV shows, but I feel like as a person, you warm up to people very quickly.
Well, I also think it also proves the fact that these are the stages of me with people. When I first meet somebody, oh, this fucking guy. Then a couple weeks in, oh, this fucking guy.
So it's just really your personality.
This fucking guy. Yeah.
And then we have Cassie, which again kind of turns into a funny smooching situation.
Yeah.
They say something where they're like smooching, and then she laughs a little bit, and he's like, "That's not a kiss his sister would give." And he's like, "I mean, not that I would know that. Not that I would know that."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What am I doing?
Backtrack.
Backtrack. I don't know. I like this. Kind of funny. Katie's really nice. I really like Katie. They seem to have like a connection.
Mm-hmm.
She gets him matching chopsticks. Sydney does like a mummy wrapping thing. Everybody has their own thing. Hannah does some like.
I thought it was like a more of
reading.
a patching because of where the scar from the thing was.
Oh, I don't. I just
she a
put
nurse?
wrapping.
I thought. Okay.
No, she's the dancer. She's the NBA dancer.
Gotcha. Okay.
Sydney. And then Courtney's kind of having a freak out, right?
Holy shit.
We always have this gal though. This is typical Bachelor action where they get in their head and they don't do the thing that everybody's doing, which is to just go talk to the person.
I think this breaks down the cameras, the competition, all this shit.
This is like, oops, this is
and I like that she's like, I don't have to do something crazy to get this guy's attention. I'm like, what's your version of that?
Yeah, all you got to do is get up there and talk. And I get it.
It'd be funny if you like see her like slowly walking and she has a knife to Chris's throat. Talk to me, Colton. Talk to me.
This is a hostage situation. We need a negotiator.
Chris, tell him about your wife. Tell him about your wife.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be extreme for sure. I do notice that like in Singapore it must be hot. Everybody's fanning themselves.
Oh my God.
And then Demi's
is
a little sweaty. Yeah.
She is moist.
Yeah, but that is one of the things that there's many reasons why I wouldn't be on the show, but hot dang, I'd be a sweaty disaster.
Yeah.
Anytime you're in a hot location and then there's lights on you and like
Oh my
also
God.
put a cocktail dress and glitter on, I'd be like, I'm gonna sweat this shit off right away. Like,
that's why I think they should always have like a Jezebel type person.
Who's a Jezebel type?
You know, like a Southern Belle, where she has like a folded little handkerchief where she goes, "Oh my word," and she always like pats her forehead.
Oh, like I couldn't possibly.
Yeah. Oh my word.
Why Jezebel? What is that?
Isn't that what they call that?
Jezebel is like, I feel like pretty biblical of like someone who's sort of like using their feminine powers against you. That's
really?
Jezebel.
Oh, okay.
You're thinking like a Southern belle.
Right, but I also was like a Southern Belle Jezebel type person.
Interesting.
This is my education. Come on, why are you surprised?
Anytime we don't say anything, we just be like public education.
Yeah.
Got it. So Demi takes this opportunity to talk about her mom in prison, federaal prison. She's released. She says something like, "My mom might be messed up," and he does the thing like, "I'm not judging you at all."
Incredible.
And I was like, ...
Yeah. ... Because
Are you?
Because she didn't get very specific on what it was.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, "My mom got released on federal prison." And then he's just like, oh, I mean, I would think murder.
Would you?
Is it federal prison?
Federal prison can be a number of things.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
But then she was like, I know that she's done bad things, but I support her and she loves me.
Yeah. My mom might be messed up, but she loves me. Yeah.
Whoa. That girl, scary. That girl has his wallet now.
Well, that's the thing that I get. I know this is way bigger of a conversation than this reality TV show. Again, we're going to talk about this in the coming up one-on-one. This is like a weird medium to talk about this. Like, I'm a little torn. Like, it's great because so many people are like, we're watching. So isn't it cool that we're talking about like issues that we don't talk about? And this like reaches so many people, but it like doesn't give it enough time to really get the nuance of it. It's weird, right?
Yeah,
like even in this little section, let alone the one-on-one that's coming up, it's like I'm not hating on the idea of like talking about like what happens if you have a parent or a loved one in a criminal unit or whatever, like institutionalized, like because there's a lot of people in jail in this, especially in America now that it's privatized and holy shit, it's not.
But when you're being like
it.
aggressively defending it, that seems like to me like when you watch TV shows when you find out that a parent is like that, and then you find out that the parent kind of like Sharon Stone's James Wood boyfriend in Casino, where she's like, I'm done with them, everything's fine, don't worry about it, and then he keeps like convincing her to steal money from Robert De Niro to give to him because he's like, has that kind of pimp mentality with him.
Yeah.
It's the same thing where the mom or dad is being like, I need the money, you got to do it, you have to get this out of it, you have to get this information from this person, because like they're pitting. It's either them or me. I was with you since the beginning. I'm your blood. I'm this. I'm that. You know what I mean?
So how is that like Demi?
It seems like
she's defending it.
Wait, it seems like she would have that type of relationship with her mom.
I feel like
watch your back, Colton.
Watch your back, Colton. The other thing is like on the flip
You don't
side,
feel that at all?
Well, I think what I do is I try to separate myself from the game.
Or is your thought, you're looking way too into this stuff?
No, you know how I never say that, Jonah.
Yeah, but you think it, I can see with your eyes.
The whole thing that I'm thinking is like, there is a part of me that like, I don't want to be punished for my father's sins.
Right, but you understand that he's flawed.
Right.
So like my dad also, we have dads up in jail.
Yeah.
My dad was in jail for a while. But
yeah.
I would never defend his actions.
Yeah, same.
Right.
And I think maybe
he never had that power over me, like trying to get me to do things I didn't want to do.
Yeah, and I think it's a very complicated relationship. I think we took one route.
Right.
And I think other people who have parents who have been abusive or incarcerated or whatever the thing is, whatever the, I guess, quote unquote sin, if that's what we're calling it, I don't even know if that's the right language, is you do like, there's another way and you defend them to your death. Even if you, my whole thing is I want to see the truth.
Right.
No matter how ugly and no matter how, I kind of want to get to the reason of why.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think when you get so defensive and you like love so loyally, you can't see the truth.
Or like how they are manipulating you.
Yeah. And I don't know the situation. And again, this was like a 30-second clip on a game show.
Right.
So we're talking about something
You know Colton's missing $2 million. You know that, right?
His net worth is only $1 million. I looked it up on the internet. So,
really?
Yeah.
I know. Oh, God. That's one of the things we feel bad because I mean, he decorated.
You guys, Jonah's having a time.
Dedicated. He dedicated.
You got this, Jonah.
It took me a long time to figure out dedicated. And I kept saying dictated. I'm like, that's a bigger word. Yeah. He dedicated like his whole life to become a football star, right? And he keeps talking about everything, but I'm always like, I don't think you're that good at it. But
yeah, the other thing is, you know, most NFL players are making like $6,000 a week if they're not on like huge contracts.
Well, the minimum is like $200,000 a year, I think.
Yeah, but
so
you
they're
don't
at least
get
making
it.
$200,000. No, because it's taxed and all that.
Yeah, like you're not getting $200,000.
No, but
so
I'm just saying.
You're saying like, hey, Demi, get a better mark.
Get a better mark, bud. Yeah.
And then we have this fake fight, Jonah. Can we get into this Demi Courtney situation?
Why do you always ask? Just go.
Because I don't know if you have. Here's the thing. When I try to edit this on YouTube, I want to make sure we can keep going forward. Do you have anything else to say about Demi?
No.
Okay. I think I'm being polite. Are we fighting?
No, we're not fighting at all.
Jonah turns his back to me. So Courtney keeps going on about waiting patiently and waiting. And I want him to like come reach out to me. And everybody's telling her to go. And he's not taking the time to pay attention to me. And Demi's listening. And then Demi has like a fight about it, you know, because she's like, okay, I'm telling you, I'm telling you to go. I'm supporting you to go, and you're not going to go, so I'm going to go again. And this is not my favorite part of this kind of show when they have these like fake battles. And I think the reason they're setting them up to have a confrontation is because we know that the pageant confrontation can no longer happen.
Oh, okay.
Because of the serious one-on-one that's about to go down.
Right, correct.
So I think the producers are like, listen.
Yeah. Didn't think that through like you did. Okay.
We're going to push this fight because we can't have this petty fight going on when we're going to have a one-on-one about sexual abuse.
Right. Well, this is probably one of the most heartfelt, but this is like one of the realest moments they've had.
They're trying to talk about something real. Yeah. So I think that's one of the reasons that they're pushing this fight, which seems super forced, right? Yeah. So it's like, you're so clearly fake. And they have this whole thing. How old are you again? Like they're having a moment, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? This is very typical Bachelor. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on it. And Demi gets the rose. Courtney's crying because that's the thing we're doing.
Right.
And I do want to point out that when Demi was like, I'm on cloud 9, there might be the biggest eye roll on the history of television from Tracy.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty great. It was like Liz Lemon style, 30 Rock.
Yeah.
Like Tina Fey had like the best eye rolls.
I love a good egg roll.
I do too.
I actually had egg rolls last night while I watched this.
But this eye roll was like, man, I hope that's hitting all the memes. Like, oh my God. It was like from the depths of her lower chakra all the way around. It was pretty impressive.
I've been really working on my eye roll.
Have you?
I know this is not a visual medium, but I have been.
Well, YouTube. You guys can check out it on YouTube.
Okay, I'm going to give it to you first, and I'll give it to the camera.
Okay, all right.
Okay, you first. Here goes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good, right?
A lot of whites of the eye. Like,
yeah.
You're up top a lot.
I'm sure.
To the camera.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Here it comes. Ready?
Here it comes.
Here it comes.
Ready. Oh, there it goes. Yeah.
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 I like the up, and then look to the left, and you make that sound.
It's almost like an eye arch.
And
There's
like
not a lot of roll.
I think the disappointment in the face.
Oh, yeah.
Is important.
Well, I think for you, a lot of your eye roll is the breathe out, the like scoffing.
Or even like the.
Yeah. Breathe out, right?
What's yours?
I think I go more rolly. So you kind of go up and down.
Yeah.
You're very much like a eye peak.
Yeah.
Like you mountain peak it. I think I'm like,
oh, well, your eyes
all the way
cross-eyed.
around. I know, I cross-eye because I love to cross my eyes.
That's crazy. I don't like this.
You don't like it? So that happened. So Demi has a rose at this point, and so does Tayshia. And now we get into the one-on-one with Kaylin.
Went to a fun shopping trip.
Yeah. Now, I thought about you a lot during this because you love to go to the mall.
I do love to go to the mall.
And so I think this would be a really good date for you. And we've talked about this with The Bachelor before and Bachelorette. Mm-hmm. Anytime there's shopping dates, I'm like...
Big fan.
If Jonah was ever on the show, he'd be like, Pretty Woman the shit out of this. You'd be like, everybody's working for the weekend.
No, I wouldn't, because I don't like that, like, show me.
Oh, you like to shop in private.
No. I don't like the whole, like, okay, you put this on and then you show me. I like searching with you. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this look great.
Yeah. So maybe more of a thrift store situation.
Oh, no, not that. But it's also like, I don't like that, like
the presentational.
Yeah, to the man with while he's drinking. I know he's just trying. I will say this: the thing is to like, I would love to be able to do that to at that extent or that degree for somebody,
like a very luxury experience,
right? Instead of just being like, "Hey, I'm going to buy you all your clothes, but we're going to go to
Target."
Yeah.
Well, because you have mall days.
Those are Gap Flex jeans. You should try those on.
Yeah. Oh,
skinny.
Oh, nice.
Skinny Gap Flex.
I love it.
Yeah.
I used to work at the Gap in college for a while.
Get out of town.
Don't be jealous.
Get the fuck out of town.
I did the windows. I won't.
I love doing windows.
I did overnights. Yeah.
Oh, I like doing overnights.
I love the top hat. He was very nice. He was very adorable.
Yeah.
So that was somebody who brought the date card. You saw it wasn't an intern.
No.
It was a gentleman with a top hat, like a very adorable butler.
It was probably some crazy person they found on the streets.
No, he sold it, man.
Yeah.
I mean I'm like acting top notch. And then Kaylin
Can I ask you a question? Interrupt you? Would you like?
Just ask, Jonah.
Touche. Would you like that to be pampered like that? Not saying Jason has or has not, but like
I'm so glad you asked because I have a whole thing about it and I didn't know if I wanted to get into it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
You don't.
I don't like it for a couple of reasons, but I was really thinking about this because like I do like being pampered. I do like when someone shows me affection, but this specific kind, like you just kind of mentioned of like a guy sitting there and like drinking champagne. And one of the reasons I like my brain, love it. My brain, I'm very proud of it, right?
Okay.
I like it. I am someone who I don't like to be a prize.
Gotcha.
And my whole body shape, right? Well, the reasons that I sort of have this like weight on me for a guard and a shield. I never wanted anybody to be able to control me like this.
Gotcha.
I never wanted anybody to be like, I'll dress you up. And this is like, it feels like trapped. It feels like powerless. It doesn't feel like pampering to me.
Okay.
It feels like a shackle.
Gotcha.
And I know that seems like a lot. And I know like someone's like, man, chill out. Just let somebody buy you shoes.
Yeah.
But this is a lot of my being of like independence. And I, especially like a male over me. And I think I've seen a lot of women be trapped by that, like, or financially or economically, like, sort of stuck with a man.
Yeah.
Not just because of this, but because of other things. And I adamantly fight against this shit.
Really?
Yeah. Like bad, like in the very levels, like I have a hard time. Like I think what happened is I overcorrected. Like I don't want this so badly that I don't even like people to buy me like dinner. Like, you know what I mean? Like I like even when you like give me like, here, I brought you water, and I'm like, I don't want to owe you anything. Like I get like, I kind of went overboard because I don't like that feeling. I feel like I'm being strangled. You know what I mean? Like,
we just did that.
Yeah, it makes me really uncomfortable. And I know that people are like, whoa, fucking chill out. But it's that like ownership. I don't want to feel owned by anybody.
Okay.
So it's very hard for me to accept gifts. And I wish there was a middle ground.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I get very weird. So this would make me very uncomfortable.
I wouldn't like if someone did this for me.
Yeah. And to be fair, I'm not saying that's what's going on. But like, I'm not saying Colton is like, dress for me.
Oh, no. He had every, like, I want to do something so nice for you.
Yeah, like, exactly. So
And
I'm
he
not
said
like
that,
putting it on the
and also
show.
he didn't have to pay for that shit.
Right. Let's just, yeah, he's really bringing out his wallet for this.
Yeah, I loved it when he was just like, you know, I don't get to do this often for people. But, you know, when I have the opportunity, I love to do it. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of nice when you have a whole budget behind you.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, that's why you're vlogging.
Yeah.
You have to pay for those shoes.
Right.
But, yeah, so I don't like it. Like watching it doesn't like make me that uncomfortable, but this idea of like men dressing you up and sort of lording over you and be like, look at my prize, look at my trophy. Again, I'm not saying that's what he's doing, but like historically, it's not for me.
Right.
And I think that's one of the reasons that I even look the way I do. Like I don't want you to pick me out of a crowd to be your prize.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a shield. And I think, and we're getting into a lot of like body consciousness and like a body image, but I know a lot of women, and there's a lot of other reasons, but a lot of women will like, we like shield ourselves with weight is because we're trying to avoid this stuff.
Okay.
Now, sometimes it doesn't happen anyway, or like being predator, like being preyed upon.
Yeah.
Like they'll pass me in a lineup. Doesn't happen. I mean, women are abused and raped and all these horrible things if you're overweight or not. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But like, there's a thing in your head where you're like, I can hide myself in a crowd.
Right.
And I think this is one of the reasons.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
I told you I had a lot to say about it. No,
Rip
you're like
that Band-Aid off
you're
on
like,
that one.
dang, why don't
Yeah.
you just get some shoes?
It's like, oh, so no then?
No, right? I told you I was like, ouch. But even
I would like to do that for some. I mean, not in that context, but I like to shop, and I like shopping with people, and I like understanding like your style or like what I think. You know, like, hey, would you like this, right?
Yeah, because
not like put this on. I want to see you look like
right.
on it.
I think
That's
when
it.
you do it like a partnership, like a conversation of like, I know what you like.
Yeah.
So it's almost like gift giving. You're like,
Right.
oh, I'm walking around and I'm just like, you're always on my mind. Like I'm always thinking about you.
Yeah.
I walked down the street and I thought of you.
Yeah.
Look at this thing. It like, I think you would like it. That to me is how you're doing it. And maybe I'm wrong there, but like this, like it's very affectionate and it's very like, you're a part of me and I listen to you and like, but it's not like, put on this ring because
Right.
I own you now. You know what I mean? Where you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's a difference. And I feel like for me, it's very hard for me to see the difference.
Gotcha. I
Even
hear.
when it's there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anyway. And like you could see him light up. Like when she like came out in that green sort of sparkly dress.
Yeah.
He was like, wow.
Yeah.
And so I think one of those things is like, it is like a very nice moment to like walk out and see somebody that you care about be infatuated. Like all of a
Right.
sudden you can see in their eyes,
Right.
you know, of them being like, wow, like you just took my breath away. I'm spitting a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and so like there's a moment like, oh, isn't that beautiful? Yeah.
But I think also like it's him. Maybe I think in his head, like giving an opportunity. I don't know. It's kind of like it sucks, but like, you know, when you get to dress really nice and you get to get all glammed up and stuff like that, like all of a sudden you have like a huge boost of confidence.
Sure.
And I think like you could see her being like, oh my God. And even like, I mean, the salesman, but was just like, whoa, you wear that, you know, like, and she used to wear these like probably dresses that she wished that she could always like get.
Yeah.
So
That's what I'm saying. Like
she came home so excited. She was so happy.
Yeah, I think it's a complex
thing. She was like, "Could you fucking believe what he did for me?" Like that.
Yeah, and I do think it's complex, and like I don't ever want to like shit on anybody's parade. Yeah. I'm just saying like that's how I would feel.
Yeah.
And I do think the other thing you used to talk about like coming home, right? Is like we never see that moment in this show. So clearly the producers are also trying to stir up some shit, right? Like we always see the day date that goes right into the night date. We see the day date go right to her going with the girls and showing all the bags so we can see everybody get like, you know, like, fuck this, you know. Remember, at the end of the day, this is a game show.
Right.
I think we put a lot into it because, one, we have a podcast, we need to fill some time.
Yeah,
but also we're like looking to see like, you know, what are the potential like social issues going on.
Right. And I think
at the end of the day, it's a game show, though. Right.
Do you think when she went home and she was like, "Look what he did for me," and then in the trailer across the street, you hear Chris go, "Him, him."
I just maxed out my Amex for this.
My wife is gonna be pissed.
You know, I got to send people to college.
This is self-funded.
Self-funded. God, could you imagine? Like Chris Harrison's like, you guys, next season we got an Indiegogo. I'm like, you go fuck off, Harrison.
Yeah.
Oh man. So then, so this one-on-one after the bags and people are upset. Like Hannah B is a little ouchy about it, and Cassie was really surprised. Yeah, surprisingly a little upset.
I was just saying, do you think that also they showed that moment too of this like enlightenment. What's the word I'm looking for?
Don't know.
God damn it.
It's okay, Jonah. I believe in you.
Excitement of her coming home being all excited and be like, oh my God, like this,
elated.
Elatement. Is that a word? Elated.
I think she was elated.
Yes, sure. God damn it.
It's okay.
No, it's not. I just like don't know what I'm doing, and I'm trying to be smart with you.
You're doing great, Jonah.
No.
Why do they show her?
Because then you see the difference. Because then you see like this really wounded person. Afterward, not wounded. I guess wounded is kind of a bad way to say it. But then you see her, which we'll get into. You see her that conversation. I don't know. Just see like how excited that she is and how happy she is, and like the world's turning. Like that. Because you hear this like really heart wrenching story.
Yeah. The other thing that, and I don't think that anybody is trying to say this, but is like from a survival mentality, right? Yeah. Of like you have some assault, abuse in your background, rape in your background, right?
Right.
You function in the world. You're still going to have highs and lows. I think there's this, it's like, not to compare it exactly with grief, but something that you can understand, right? You've had a lot of death in your family, right? But you still function and laugh and go outside, but there's something that's always going to be in you now.
Yeah.
And that's the same with the survival. Like, and that's why I think people get very confused with like, people who have like survivors who've gone through shit. They're like, yeah, but you look happy now. You're like, yeah, that's what surviving is.
Right. I'm not gonna. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna shop and I'm gonna have this fun time and I'm gonna enjoy my life.
Right.
This other thing is always a part of me, and I think if you've never survived that, but you have survived grief, you can understand the complexities of that. So I don't think they went out and blatantly showed you like having the best time of your life and then cut to her telling Colton the story of her college abuse.
Right, but I think it also was like a shot that visually really like made you feel like it really kind of gave you an insight because she was like genuinely she was very excited and like glowing.
Yeah.
And it was like wasn't like a fake thing. Like to me it was like a very like I'm really kind of getting to know this girl. And then all of a sudden, so to me, it was like helped me with like hearing the story a little bit, I guess, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it then, since we're there already, right? So after the shopping and after she goes back to the hotel with the rest of the gals to kind of chat about the day, they go to the cocktail hour. They have a hard conversation, which she does talk about that she needs to have it because she wants him to know and she wants to get to know him, and because it affects her relationships and she wants to be in a relationship with this man, that she wants to talk about it. Now, listen, I'm going to preface everything by saying I think survivors, of course, need to tell their stories, 100%. I just think it's very odd that in this game show medium, it's very hard to talk about this because it is such a serious topic in the guise of a fucking game show. So anything that I'm about to say, I'm all about women and men telling their stories. You 100% have to do it. I have such a strange reaction because it's on The Bachelor.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not that I don't believe her. I 100% do. I 100% do. It's just like this odd, like.
But how do you think they handled it?
I guess as they handled it as tactfully as you can when you're on a game show.
Right.
You know?
But also this is like a medium that brings the biggest viewership of the week.
Yeah, that's
too.
what I'm saying. It's
so
like,
that's a way to like really like push an issue.
Yeah.
In certain ways.
It is.
So I think they have a lot of responsibility with that.
And I have
I
to
think
say,
generally speaking, they handled not.
I'm not saying they didn't handle it well, and there's no way that I'm saying that she did anything wrong. Like Kaylin and Colton are just talking. It's just so odd to have these like. Because the thing is, like, it's very nuanced, this kind of stuff. There's layers and layers and layers. And to put it on a show like this is, I'm just like, it feels funny. That's all.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel conflicted. And it's not that people shouldn't talk about this. I just want to make that very clear. It's just kind of odd. That's all. And like, you know, they kind of dance around it a little. Like she does just kind of get into it. She tells like she was a sophomore. She was in like 4 of her other sorority sisters. I assume they were in a fraternity. They went to a party and they got drugged and they were sexually assaulted.
Yeah.
Now she doesn't talk about rape until she says she did get a police rape kit, and then she was like they sent her away, like all this like criminal activity. Like you cannot do that, you know.
Right.
So she does mention sort of specifics, and oh gosh, it's such a strong message and it's such an important message. I just sometimes feel like this is just, I don't want to say a wrong platform. It's just odd.
Right.
It's just odd. Like,
but I think it's like, I mean,
because the platform is so shallow. We can agree, right? This is a bit of a shallow platform. But the medium itself.
I
right?
can almost guarantee that I don't think. Do you think that this was something like in her interviews that she brought up to?
I have no idea. I don't even want to speculate.
Yeah.
It just feels like, you know what it is? This show has been built to be voyeuristic, right?
Right.
We are supposed to be watching people on a first date and smooching and going on helicopter rides. It's very voyeuristic. It's almost like relationship porn, which is a wrong phrase, but you know what I mean?
No, but I can see why you said, yeah.
And then so for this to be voyeuristic as well, it's like, fuck, man, this is weird.
I mean, that's a part in everybody's relationship when you really start
I know, but
knowing.
this isn't a relationship. This is a game show.
Yeah, but to them it is a relationship. And I could see her going pretty, not because of the story, even before the story happened, because I forgot it was, when they teased it in the beginning, I didn't realize that it was Kaylin who was going to tell the story. I just wasn't paying attention at that time. And I would say throughout this episode, I was like, I really like her a lot. And she's really, obviously she's beautiful, but like, it seemed like they have a good connection, you know?
Yeah.
And I think they respectfully did. Like, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty positive they didn't even play music during her story.
Yeah. Well, they took
It was
a lot of
deafening silence.
They didn't. They
normally
yes.
Dramatize it with music.
Which again, they stripped a lot of the formulaic action of The Bachelor.
Right.
Like even at the end, she was not presented with a rose, which I think is a great move of their part. Listen, we're having a real serious topic going on. We don't need to be like, thank you for telling me your saddest story. Here's a rose. Congratulations.
Right.
You know, they took all that out.
Yeah.
All of that is great. I'm just saying the platform is still a little funky. And I think for me, it's because of the voyeurism. It's just such a private moment.
Yeah.
And now I'm not saying there's another side to it though. Like, right? Like private or not, like it is up to the survivor to tell their story however they want. That's why I'm not saying shit about this. Like it's up to her to say her story however the heck she wants. As a viewer of the show, it's just a little odd. Yeah. That's all.
Yeah.
And
I felt
it's just odd.
You know, because
for me.
Yeah, because you know, we try to live tweet during the show, and this is a part where I was like, I went like radio silent on social media because I don't want to hear like the trolls say things.
Yeah.
And then I felt like this isn't a time where I'm gonna. I wrote no notes, just try to, you know.
Just try to like.
I did switch to watch wrestling because it made me feel sad, but like.
Well, that's the other thing too. It's like it's okay to make, and the other thing is like, okay, it's good to feel feelings about this. It's good that people are having a conversation about it. Like all those things, I feel like are pretty positive in a mainstream network American TV. In America, we're not great about talking about this stuff. No. You know, we really aren't. So like all those things are positive. Another thing they didn't do is like use this in their promotion, right?
No.
Like this was never used to like hook people into watching.
They hooked it a little bit.
See, well, in Hulu, I didn't see any like. What
not the
happened?
subject matter, but it was like they might have used the word bombshell. I don't know how I feel about that, but
really,
I'm not. Don't quote me on that one. But
okay.
they definitely, maybe they said reveals, but it definitely was like.
Well, in the Hulu, they have that like quick, like 40-second spot before like what's coming up.
Yeah, they do that. I think it's the same.
Yeah, I didn't see this going in.
I think I saw previews for it. Like watching other shows.
Yeah, so just so you know, you guys, like when Jonah's watching it live, you're watching it like on ABC or like you're watching
straight up
it.
live.
Yeah, and I'm watching Hulu, and I think they cut a lot of that stuff out.
Right.
Of like
but I'm saying that
commercials.
I think
teases.
I saw spots just watching television normally for it.
Yeah, see that sucks.
Yeah, but they didn't say the content, but they definitely were like, this is going to be a pretty big.
See, I even put that like, hey, that would have pissed me off. Thank God they didn't use in the promos. That would have pissed me off.
Okay.
And so maybe they did, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing here's the thing about this show in general, or like network TV or capitalisms or like shares, or you know what I mean. Like you need to get your ratings up. Using this for a ratings boost,
right,
sickens me. And I'm not.
Right.
Let's just say that let's, for argument's sake, say that that's what they are doing.
Right.
It's on the table.
Well, it's part of it. I mean, that's the thing. Is
And
like
it grosses me out.
there's hundreds of people, thousands of people that need to get hundreds of people that need to get paid from the show that depend on it to feed their families.
Yeah, and like, but this message, like, that's
right.
I guess what I'm saying is it's very complex.
And I bet you some people, and I bet you some people too, even though yes, it seems kind of gross. Maybe their intentions was to bring light to it because then they had like the survivor abuse thing right afterwards. Was that on
that
Hulu?
was not on Hulu, but yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That was on Hulu.
Like,
so right after a story, before it cut to the commercial, they showed like if you or anybody about here's a number.
And again, that is positive, right? All
Right.
that is positive. But at the end of the day, I'm just going to keep saying it. The platform is funky.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's a funky platform to do this. A voyeuristic game show in which people are telling their deepest, darkest things. It's a little. And we've had this conversation before about how I feel about these moments, and I feel like it doesn't change here. And then we talk about something else, which is real life, right? Which Colton, one of his ex-girlfriends, is Allie Rainsman, who is a gold medal gymnast, who testified in court and was somebody who put like Larry Nassar in jail, who sexually abused hundreds of girls from 6 years old on.
Right.
This is a real thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and so to tie it into a game show.
But he didn't tie that in.
No.
Yeah.
And he didn't. And to be fair, like Colton, it was known on the internet.
Extremely tactful about it.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, it opens doors, right? It like opens these wounds. It's just complicated. That's all I'm going to say. Because I feel like I'm just talking in circles at this point.
Right.
But it's like,
because we talked before. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I see that they're trying to do something. So I don't want to like shit on that.
Right.
Of like, because I am pro story, pro getting that out, pro changing the world.
Right.
And like we live in rape culture and it's upsetting. And so I don't want to shit on The Bachelor and the people in The Bachelor. Like we have a platform, we're trying to get that message across. It just still feels a little skeevy to me just because it's The Bachelor.
Right.
So I don't know how to fix that. I'm just telling you how I feel.
Yeah. But I'm sure there's a lot of people that like maybe this started a conversation with their loved ones.
Yeah.
Totally.
Well, and even like if you're going in, any time that you tell a story and other people can see themselves and see their experience and then also feel the freedom to tell their story, that's all positive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I will never argue. That's not a debate, in my opinion.
So with that being said, how do you feel about like Colton's response then? Do you think he handled it well?
Yeah, I mean, he mentioned that he hasn't had the. He's like, I can never imagine what you're going through, right? But he listened, and then he said, "I have had this in my experience, right? I can't remember his exact
It seemed like
phrase.
her fear was like, how can you handle being with somebody who has that experience?
Yeah, and the other thing they talked about is like, Colton was like, even though it hasn't happened to me. It's been in my life, and we all assume that he's talking about Allie.
Right.
And this is another, again, super nuanced conversation. If you have a loved one where someone has been raped, it is going to leak into all aspects of their lives. it does happen to you when it happens to someone you love. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that conversation is very difficult, which I think they kind of like sort of brushed on of like, how do you listen? How do you support? How do you become involved? You know, and how she was afraid to tell her parents,
right?
And how when she did, like she didn't want to know how they react, and that's like heartbreaking. This happens all the time of like why you keep it to yourself and why you keep silent, because you don't know how to address the people you love, and how they're going to react. And it's like, oh gosh, how do you talk about that on this show?
Right?
Yikes! You know, it's just so in depth. So the fact that they did it, I can't shit on them for trying. I just shit on the show in general because I think the show in general is a shallow platform. That's all. I don't know. So
the platform, what you're saying is like the platform. It just seems like it is shit. You hate it. That's the beauty of our show.
Right. I'm not a fan of the show.
No, and I love it. But you'd say like the execution of handling it, they did what as well as they could.
I guess yes.
In the form that
is. And I think it's a greater. So I guess my yes. I guess the short answer is yes. My greater argument is like existence versus non-existence. Like I don't think the show should exist anyway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then like that kind of solves all of our problems if it just wasn't there in the first place.
Right, but then we wouldn't be talking right now.
You know, which is a deeper conversation. You know what I mean? Yeah. But again, I do love the fact that they didn't like quote unquote reward her for telling her story like they usually do with like presenting with a rose.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. Like you said, they didn't use music. They definitely knew this was a heavy conversation.
Right. It almost seemed like it was also like a one-off. Like it didn't seem like then that was thread throughout the rest. Even though this basically happened at the end. We'll see in future episodes.
Yeah.
But also it's not like a now thread through everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is kind of like it's your story, you know, and it's just like it felt separate from everything else.
Yeah, it reminded me a little bit, and again, it's not to the degree of this because I know that they're trying. And again, I'm not going to shit on people for trying. Cool. Let's just make that clear. It does feel a little bit like
guys. Do you agree? Let me hear you. I can't hear you.
I can hear you. We're not live. It does feel a little bit like the Hunger Games, right? Which they do push into satire a little bit, and a little bit of like a little Oprah-ism and a little like, for lack of a better word, like Maury Povich-isms. It's like, we need to see you bleed to have a message.
Yeah.
That voyeuristic bleeding of like on public TV.
Yeah.
Even if it does do all those positive things.
Right.
It does kind of, the fact that you're doing it on purpose, doing it so publicly in this platform it just makes my guard up a little. That's all. It's different than going to a town hall meeting,
right,
or having a phone call with a friend.
Do you know how many more people you're reaching this way?
I know. That's why I'm saying like I'm a little torn about it.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. It's bittersweet.
Yeah, it's
like a double-edged sword.
It's I just think it's, and you know what? I think Colton actually does say it when he talks about, so he does end up talking about his virginity at the end of the night, right?
Yeah.
And he does seemingly, and this is what I'm reading into it, it's like, I am a virgin and it's more complex than people think.
Right. He does that.
Bless you.
I'm going to
I can see you going to sneeze here. And I think that can sum up this whole end of this segment.
Elephant nose.
Just don't say. I think it's more complex than we. Okay.
You say elephant nose, it disappears.
Oh, interesting.
That's a fact.
A sneeze.
You go elephant nose, but you do it at the top of your little noggin.
And it takes your sneeze away.
Elephant nose.
Interesting.
It's gone.
Gone. Yeah. So Colton does say it's complicated, or it's complex, and he's talking about his virginity, but I think he can really sum up the whole thing. It's very complex. This.
Right. I mean, what a great tie-in. You know. Yeah. Make it about yourself. No, sorry. I know I interrupted by saying elephant nose. Yeah.
But I think we move on, right? Which is what they do. And so what they do after this one-on-one with Kaylin, they go to the cocktail hour. They go to the rose ceremony. And the first part of this segment is Hannah G goes into his room and they kind of try to make it lighter. And they have like some smooches. But pretty shortly after that, it's Hannah B and Kaylin, and they just talk about the fight. They address it. They talk about their like.
Oh
beef,
yeah. I'm sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
And they do it in like a very seemingly adult way. They sit down like, we know this is going on. We know we have beef.
Right.
We want to enjoy this experience, so let's let's recognize that we're not going to be friends,
right?
But we're going to stop going after each other. We're going to stop this.
It seems like all like Hannah's just like putting like she didn't. What did she always talk about? I didn't place and she placed. Like it's just like this person that always beats me in everything. It just seems like she's just like losing it and putting all that shit on her.
Yeah.
When it's not really her fault, Kaylin.
Yeah.
She seems like a genuinely sweet person.
And they seem to try to put that away.
Yeah.
At the end of this night.
Hannah's just like externalizing everything onto her.
Yeah. Which sometimes.
Or projecting everything onto her.
Yeah, and I think we do this a lot. Like, like if we lose, or if we have these complex feelings about stuff, it's hard to like put your feelings in the ether. Sometimes people just put it on a face.
Yeah.
Like they have a whole phrase, don't shoot the messenger, right? Like somebody comes and tells you bad information, whatever that is, you do take it out on that person, right? And I think sometimes when you're feeling like somebody has everything and somebody has it all and I'm having nothing, it might be you have greater pain in the world.
Right.
You put it on one person.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that they are like putting it one. I just don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't
they kind of put a little button on it.
Like,
but that's
hey,
okay. Then we moved on to somebody else.
Yeah, we're not going to be best friends.
Courtney and
yeah, let's make a fake fight happen over here.
Yeah.
The producers are like, yeah,
Courtney and Demi.
Yeah, and again, I think you can't have a catty fight when you talk in this. It's interesting that they chose to have a different fight going on because they knew this Caleb story was happening.
But I think it's also interesting that Demi did that move where she put her opinion on somebody as in the group's opinion.
Yeah.
Like she goes, yeah, everybody thinks that she's real toxic. Yeah, we think that she's.
Yep. We talked about this before about that language of like not owning it and using a group mentality and how that.
It's also a manipulation tool. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And I love too in these kind of fights, like Demi and Courtney fights. Everybody's like, "This isn't a game. This is not a game. How dare you play this? Like, hey, you guys, this is 100% a game.
Right.
Like everybody's like, this is not a show. How can you? This is real. You're like, wrong.
Yeah.
This is a game.
I did like
this is a game show.
I like Colton like trying to like be empathetic and going from one to the next, and because he's like, okay, what's now? Over here, and he's like, okay, so I was told this. It's not like that. Okay, cool. It's like this. He goes over here. He's like, he's like, okay, cool. So I was told that it's not. You're saying no, it's more like this. Okay, cool. I believe you. 1 second. It reminded me. We've talked about this before, but it reminds me of me watching documentaries.
Oh, where you're swayed on both sides.
Where I watch a documentary and I go, that's what it is. And then I watch
you instantly hear someone else's side.
Then I watch a different documentary and I'm like, oh, I was wrong. This is what it is.
Yeah. Jonah can be swayed very easily. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. 1 second.
Very glad you weren't living in Germany in 1920.
Right, yeah. No, it's like me running over here. SeaWorld's really bad because whatever. Okay, 1 second. Oh, wait, no, it's better than they actually manipulated the not all. Okay, cool. 1 second. Actually, so there was a few outliers, but wait, no, it was all of them. Okay, what's your? Okay, cool. Actually, well, you don't understand.
Well, then at the end, like when Colton's like, the phrase like she's the cancer in the house, and then so they go back to him, and he like finally is like, this is my worst nightmare. He's like totally pulling a Luther and just like wiping his face, the whole time. Like, oh.
You gotta do the accent if you can do the Luther.
Oh, I can't.
You can't do accents?
I only do the bad accent up top, like, hey, governor. I can't do it. We already established that this 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
So. At the end, I know it's a long one. You guys, we also noticed that when we don't watch the show Monday night,
when we have more time to go over it,
we have more time
to watch it.
We have a 3-hour podcast.
Yeah, because I noticed things like this. They cut the pencils. What?
How dare they?
Did you see that, Kelsie?
I
by
know.
myself.
So when the rose ceremony rolls around,
we also had a lot
fight,
to talk about in this.
We did. So people, before we go into the rose ceremony, the people who already have the roses, we've got Demi, Kaylin, and Tayshia. Mm-hmm. So we have 10 roses to give. At the end of this, Tracy and Courtney do not get a rose. Nope. They are the ones that leave.
Good. I wasn't feeling Tracy.
And both are the people.
Your Star is Born hat. Get out of here.
That Demi had a beef with.
Comes out on DVD in 2 months. What's that? 2 weeks? What?
Star is Born. Tracy and Courtney. Demi had beef with both of them, and they both left this episode.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about the Tracy and Demi.
So we've got 10 gals with. So we've got Hannah G, Heather, Kirpa, Hannah B, Katie, Elise, Sydney, Cassie, Nicole, and Annika. And I hope I'm saying her. I'm always so paranoid about saying her name wrong, and I apologize. And then we've got Demi, Kaylin, and Tayshia.
Tasha.
Is
it Tasha or Tasha?
Tay.
Oh,
Tayshia.
I'm wrong.
Going into next week, and next week, Jonah is Thailand.
Yes.
And and we did have a little bit of an Easter egg after the ceremony where
I travel a lot. I can eat a lot. I got it.
Oh gosh, puking in the garbage can, or at least really staging it well.
I like that part when it's like, ooh, Colton looks real mad. But for the next week,
oh
I'm
yeah,
excited about.
You're excited about that. I love that you're excited. Even though
I like when generally nice people get mad.
I love that you think that it's going to be real and they're not like setting you up to let you down.
Give me one example. Give me
one example.
Fine. Give me 5 in a row examples.
So that's it. So what do you think it's going to be next week? Any next week guesses, hypothesize?
I don't know. I'm just waiting for this whole jumping over the fence thing to happen.
Yeah, we really want to see.
Yeah, we're really good.
We want to see Colton
like
hurtle himself over that gate.
You think people are going to use that meme to tweet against Donald Trump?
Maybe. There is a wall.
There's a wall. Clearly jumps over just fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that we're potentially, 2019, we're potentially guessing memes. Oh, man.
Yeah.
So that's it. So next week, the plan is to do some live tweeting. Thanks again, Jonah, for doing that. We're going to be back Monday nights doing some Instagrams and tweetings and cranking out this podcast.
Yeah.
And what? Tell us.
I do want to mention something. Also, like always to write in or tweet at us or whatever. We had somebody actually ask us a question.
Okay.
I think TM'd us about what's with Colton's lisp. It's in and out. Sometimes we get a lisp. Sometimes we don't.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
I don't know. Maybe it's nerves. Maybe it's certain words.
Yeah.
We should maybe start trying to find a pattern. Maybe there's certain words that he hits.
Do you think he loves eating peanut butter?
Why?
Because like maybe he's just got done licking some peanut butter off his finger.
Oh, you mean like a doggy and then the tongue goes crazy?
It's a little stuck out there a little bit.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I don't know. I actually didn't notice it.
Or maybe he likes licking bumblebees.
Because then his tongue swells up?
Yeah.
Oh.
Maybe.
Well, so you're more of like the allergy reason.
I'm more like the cartoonish allergy reason. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that sometimes, like if you have like a speech, I don't know, I got issues. I don't know what you call them in your younger years. If you get nervous or if you feel anxiety,
I bet you that's what it is.
It can come out a little bit.
He probably went to like a speech
therapist potentially.
Speech therapist, yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it now. So whoever DM'd, I guess I'll be on the lookout for it.
When they said that, I was like, oh yeah, what's going on here? He's got a lisp. He's got not.
Did it come out in Bachelor in Paradise too, or The Bachelorette?
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe in times
I think our
of
favorite
stress.
tweet that we've seen is when someone goes, "What happened to that dog?"
I know. Oh my gosh, because the gal who's supposed to be the villain, I forgot her name already. That's the thing about next week.
Oh yeah,
Lucy. The dog's name was Lucy.
Yeah.
I hope someone's taking care of Lucy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's it, you guys. Thanks so much for listening. If you made it this whole way, congratulations.
Yeah.
This was a little bit of a longer podcast, but we did have some.
We had some serious talks.
They did bring some serious stuff, and I feel like it's kind of our duty as people who recap it, and also like our deal is like we're trying not to be like super catty with our podcast.
Right.
We're trying to like bring out potentially like our experiences and real experiences.
Right.
So when they throw something heavy on us, I feel like we should talk about it a little bit more. Yeah.
I kind of like being like catty. Not like catty, but like catty.
Like
By
a
the way,
twinkle in your eye.
Yeah, I'm also like making a little dimple in my face for now.
Yeah.
Catty, I like that's kind of fun.
Yeah, but some podcasts are like
catty.
harsh, man.
Yeah.
Like, youch.
Yeah.
And that's just, you know what? Each to their own, I guess. But like, we're not trying to put that negative,
Like, listen,
toxic
sometimes
vibe.
we all make fashion faux pas.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if anybody on YouTube can tell. Like, we usually wear hoodies.
I know my I love this hoodie and it's ripped right now and it's Roots of Fight. I love you. You're great, but God damn it, I get it. You're making yourself look kind of like vintage and destroyed, but
then you
sometimes
get thin fabric. Yeah.
Yeah, then it fucking straight up rips and it's like $100 goddamn hoodie. Anyways, that's beyond this.
Yeah.
It's very nice though.
It's very nice, but fashion, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks you guys for listening. Should we buy them out?
Oh wait, did I just make a Roots of Fight thing? Guys, if you go to rootsoffight.com/petals and pricks,
not sponsored.
You can't return your shit.
And on that note,
yeah.
bye.
Oh, bye.